Wolfpack, what is going on? It's boy, the Wolf of Rose Street, RoseStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves here with your week 2 sit starts. Whether you got the win, the loss, a win this week is always so important to keep the season within reach, the playoffs, all that good stuff. So let's dive right on in. We'll cover a couple quick Thursday night football takeaways as the audience is building, as the mailbag is growing. We'll then move on to some news that you need to know throughout the day. And within 15 minutes or so, the rest of the time from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is going to be dedicated to your questions. So please come on in, enjoy the show, and get those questions answered so we can get that perfect lineup. Let's do it, Wolfpack. So starting with those Thursday night football takeaways, the big stuff was injuries. Unfortunately, it's the worst part of the game, especially when a legend like Austin Eckler, fantasy legend, just an absolute great guy, friend of the fantasy community as well, tears his Achilles most likely. It isn't officially diagnosed, but they do fear that is what happened. And in the wake of that, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt Bill is expected to be the starting running back moving forward. He, of course, is going to shoot up on the rest of season rankings. This also does mean a guy like, let's say, Jeremy McNichols has a little bit more receiving potential upside for him. Chris Rodriguez, no more inactives for him, likely going forward as well. Ultimately, it is going to be, despite what the Packers did to them on Thursday night, this should be one of those top 5 to 7 offenses. So any running back volume in there should be valuable. So I do expect Chris Rodriguez to be a decent waiver wire pickup moving forward. I do think McNichols is even a little bit viable, but the big riser, of course, in the wake of that is Bill Krosky-Merritt. The vibes, he just keeps shooting up the boards these days. We also have Jaden Reed diagnosed with a broken collarbone, out indefinitely. They're expecting, according to Rap Sheet, about 6 to 8 weeks. Early November is what they are targeting. Do you hold on to him? If you have an IR spot, and no harm, no foul, toss him in there, wait it out, because he could be a very big difference maker down the stretch for fantasy. We saw in week 1, he only ran 12 routes, 18 total snaps. So that was the risk with him, a part-time player only in 3 wide receiver sets, and still led the team in targets, 5 catches, had the touchdown as well. So we know he's an explosive player. We know he kind of hogs the ball when he's in there, even if his field time isn't great. So if you can hang on to Reed for that stretch run, I think he's absolutely viable in your IR. That being said, in deeper leagues and certainly where you don't have IR spots, it is going to be tough to hold on all the way till early November moving forward. In terms of other standouts beyond just injuries, Tucker Kraft, 124 yards and a score, 7 targets, 6 catches, looking every bit like the breakout tight end. I wrote about him in the mid-round article, breakout article, and he is looking phenomenal, making me look even better than I expected him to. So love what we're seeing from Tucker Kraft, and of course with Reed out, he's going to get a bump up. Maybe guys like Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs certainly gets a little bump up, always reliable, and maybe Matthew Golden Urine, the urine boy, will actually do something. First 2 games, not a great debut for the kid. Thankfully, he was on my bench in fantasy leagues for Hollywood Brown. Hopefully, you put him on the bench. Granted, we did see a couple barely missed, like deep balls. Could have had potentially 2 long scores. Gets none of them, though. Still working out the kinks, still getting the chemistry down with Jordan Love. I do think better days are ahead. They're certainly going to need playmakers with Reed removed from the lineup. Ultimately, though, you'd love to see them start clicking on those things sooner rather than later. Otherwise, Josh Jacobs, 23 carries, 84 yards, touchdown, ho-hum, typical 10 straight games now with a score for Jacobs. Daniels goes 24, 42, 200 yards and 2 scores. But the other riser I thought here was Deebo Samuel, catches that late touchdown, certainly sees more targets than Terry McLaurin, who is a big faller. We did have a touchdown for Zach Ertz as well. Our sleeper tight end of the year, as ugly and boring as it felt, continues to prove why he was one of the best value in fantasy football drafts. So that covers everything I thought was important for Thursday Night Football. But if there's somebody you're asking about, somebody you want to know more about, please do let me know. Alrighty, Wolfpack. Thank you again so much. We got 200 over here. It really does help right off the jump with 200 right here before 5 minutes hits. Awesome. If you do hit that thumbs up button, the heart button on Twitter, the likes, the shares, the retweets, it all goes such a far way to helping us out to get out to more people. Of course, if you super chat, you can only be here for a short time and you want to ultimately get in and out. Super chat does bump you to the top of the line. It also helps your boy out significantly. So do consider that if you'd like to support your guy here. But thank you again so much. Let's dive into the news you need to know. Shouldn't take longer than 10 minutes. There's not a whole ton to cover here today, but let us get into it, sir. Quarterbacks, Brock Purdy out for multiple weeks. Mac Jones is starting today versus New Orleans. I don't think this is a death knell by any means. I'm certainly still starting Ricky Pearsall. You got George Kittle down. You got Jauan Jennings likely to play, but still banged up. I know it's a downgrade. Yes, Mac Jones is certainly not producing like what Purdy has before, but I think this system is just gold for whoever's in there. I don't think Mac Jones is going to be a significant drop down, even if it's a slight one by any means. We saw Brian Thomas Jr. last year have his best games with Mac Jones at quarterback, and now he's with Kyle Shanahan. The rumors were that Kyle Shanahan wanted him at 3 instead of Trey Lance and ultimately got overrode. This could be fun to see what Mac Jones does in this system. If anywhere is going to revive the kid, this is where it would be. I think he was very smart to go here, probably starting sooner than he expected to. I'm very intrigued, though, to see what Mac Jones does, and I'm certainly not downgrading any of my players significantly for the 49ers because it's one, such a good offense, and two, it's going to be so condensed between McCaffrey, Pearsall, Jennings. I do like today if you need to start another receiver, and there's really no other mouths with Kittle now removed and Ayuk still, of course, on the mend. So that's the only real quarterback nugget, but I am not making any significant moves. And in 2 QB leagues, if you're desperate, I think Mac Jones is very viable against the Saints defense today. I'm +4 ECR on him. James Cook off the injury report. I know earlier in the week he was a little pop-up, a little scare with the hamstring, but it seems like it was nothing. He got 3 practices in, including a couple full practices on Thursday and Friday. So no issues there. Looked great in his debut on week 1. You're firing the guy up as a high-end running back too, for sure today. Mike Rice for the Patriots believes the distribution could be changing in week 2. We heard Vrabel make some comments this week. We have to evaluate everything to make sure we're getting it right based on volume, who's playing, who's getting the ball, who's trying to get the ball, were the words. And remember, this kid is so explosive, Trevor. He didn't get the right volume in week 1. It looks like they are looking to correct that, especially after 2.9 yards per carry for Ramondre Stevenson. Let's get some more explosives in there. I'd be getting Henderson into my lineups. I do think this is going to be his welcome and coming out party here today. We'll find out for sure. Still a bit of a risk. Definitely not a must play. I got a question earlier, Pearsall versus Henderson. I'm going to go Pearsall in that one, but still would be very, very intrigued. One of the big things to watch today is Henderson, and that's not just because I'm a Patriots fan, of course. Quinshon Judkins, questionable. Nope, he's activated at this point. Going to make his professional debut for the Browns against the Ravens. +500 to score a touchdown this week. I love those odds. You can see that even if he doesn't get a full workload, very unexpected early on, you could see them getting him in the goal line, having him pound in. This guy is an absolute hammer with the ball in his hands. And so I think Judkins is going to get more work. I no longer trust Dylan Sampson in my lineup this week. I certainly like to hold on to him after all those targets, 9 targets, 8 catches. Looked phenomenal. I do love Dylan Sampson too. I think they're going to form a formidable 1-2 punch. But until I now see it, because we know Ford's still kind of lingering around, it's not a backfield I necessarily want to play anybody this week in fantasy, but certainly one of the big stories to monitor. And I do like getting involved with Quinshon Judkins at +500 to get into the end zone. Wouldn't shock me at all if we got that. I think his 2 touchdowns is like +6,500 too. So, hey, just bouncing out there a couple Hail Mary bets for you, folks. Will Shipley not playing this week against the Chiefs. They did trade for Tank Bigsby. Definitely becomes one of the more intriguing handcuffs, does Bigsby. And if your league allows that roster churn, right, and you have those guys, okay, you start Kyle Monungai early. He doesn't do anything. You cut him. If you're allowed to do that, I do to Saquon Barkley. Bigsby would be an absolute animal in that offense. Not Saquon level, right, but he is very efficient as a runner. The best line in the league. One of the more valuable handcuffs in the league right now is Tank Bigsby. So if you're allowed to do that roster churn, definitely a guy I'd be intrigued to add ahead of the 4 o'clock slate today. And then the last note is Roschon Johnson not on the injury report. So that's why I think Kyle Monunga is probably a cut at this point. Didn't get a single carry in his professional debut. I know Swift didn't look great. I don't know who that backup's going to be. It's been so unclear throughout training camp. I do think it's going to be a valuable role. I think Monangai, if I had to pick one of the two, would be the one I'd still own, but it might just become a three-headed mess. Really just a DeAndre Swift dominating the workload, 100% of the running back carries, over 70% of the snaps and routes. I don't think there's going to be too much value behind him, but we do know those injury problems as well. Going on to wide receivers, we know that Xavier Worthy is officially out at this point. Marquise Hollywood Brown ultimately had 16 targets in his absence last week. So he becomes somebody of keen interest, was probably the number one pickup on most waiver wires this week. I'm starting him. I benched the golden urine boy, Matthew Golden, on Thursday. At this point, it seems like he'd have to get hurt, which I don't even want to put that into the air because we know Hollywood has that history, but he should be able to outscore the 1.6 that Matthew Golden threw up there on the scoreboard. So I do like Marquise Hollywood Brown as a fringe top 30 wide receiver play. Let me know if you have any questions on him. He's going to be an intriguing one to break down and compare to some of your other options. Multiple players told ESPN Unprompted that this offense will not succeed if they keep force-feeding Malik Nabers. It's unsustainable was the word. I beg to differ. I think Malik Nabers is an absolute beast. You certainly can force feed him. If anybody should be getting fed the rock, it is Malik Nabers. It's just a matter of who is feeding him. And right now, it's Russell Wilson just leaving the table absolutely barren. There's no food for the kids' children. Russell Wilson is cooking in the kitchen, and there's nothing. No chef is cooking there. So ultimately, I'd love to see Winston, Jackson Dart, somebody else take over. But the report from Schefter was there's no urgency right now in the quarterback room. I thought Russell Wilson was the worst, like 32 of 32 starters last week in week one, worse than Spencer Rattler. And I don't see it getting better anytime soon. I hope he just gets destroyed today. And ultimately the team is forced to move on by halftime to Jameis Winston or Jackson Dart. Jauan Jennings was questionable. It seems like he is trending towards being in, but of course, keep your eyes peeled for that news. Drake London officially off the injury report. You were never going to bench him if he was going to be in, certainly after a 15-target day, averaging nearly 13 looks per game with Michael Penix as his QB dating back to last year. Love Drake London and Sunday Night Football. This should be a fun shootout-style game in the Dome there tonight. And Darnell Mooney also off the injury report. Lingering in some waiver wires, just go check it. Don't forget how valuable Darnell Mooney was last year. A lot of people forgot him because he had that shoulder injury in camp, and ultimately it was expected to potentially linger. He's off the injury report. He should be good to go and should be rostered in most leagues at this point. Michael Pittman, a glute injury, is off the injury report as well, coming off a great debut with Daniel Jones. There was talk that those two were working out throughout the offseason, really building their chemistry. It looked like he is the clear number one wide receiver here, unless we count Tyler Warren, who the passing game is supposed to funnel through today, was the report. I don't love Pittman today facing the Broncos, the best secondary in the year. Patrick Surtain probably shadowing him. Don't love getting Pittman or really any Broncos wide receivers in my lineups. I don't mind at all getting Tyler Warren in there as well. Kayshon Boutte off the injury report, and definitely a guy I've gotten a lot of questions about. Led the Patriots in receiving in week one, over 100 yards, 8 catches, looked phenomenal. In this Dolphins defense, allowed 9.38 yards per pass play on the week. Last week, we saw Daniel Jones carving them up, moving down the field. I think this is a great rebound spot for the Patriots offense. So Boutte, in a week that the offense did not look so good, now gets a prime matchup. Yeah, I like him a lot this week on +4 ECR, and certainly considering him over many options. Let me know if you have a Kayshon Boutte question. Happy to answer it for you as well. Last receiver notes are Christian Kirk is out for week 2. Unfortunately, last week we didn't get a ton of run for Jaden Higgins and Jaden Noel. We got a healthy dose of Justin Watson and Xavier Hutchinson. Yay. Woo. We spent second round and third round capital Texans on these very exciting Iowa State rookies. Can we not get them in? Can we not get a little taste as to what those guys look like? Come on, let's get it going here. Hopefully this carves out a path. Certainly if you have the roster space to have a Higgins or a Noel, more so Higgins for me. If they're out there in your league, yeah, a great stash. One of those ones where they're going to play on Monday Night Football as well, so you could always see what happens on Sunday if your league allows that roster churn, and then scoop one of them out because they're both starting to linger. And then Godwin's not practicing after he did get a limited session in this week. Probably part of the plan. Get out there, get stretching, get on the bike. That's limited, right? and then he ultimately rests. Still not expected to see him till October at the earliest is what the reports are, but good to see the guy active a little bit in practice this week. And wrapping up with the news and then on to the mailbag, over 40 questions in there already. Keep filling it up. Wolfpack will be hitting those all momentarily. Brock Bowers was not practicing on Friday, yet he is still expected to play. Obviously, we know he's a talent that you would never bench. I do think if you're not allowed to roster churn, it might be worth adding Michael Mayer at this point if you have Brock Bowers, just in case, because I think he'd be a true low-end tight end one should Bowers miss this game. He's a talented guy himself, Michael Mayer. And so if Bowers is out, you give yourself that safety plan, that backup plan. Doesn't seem like you're absolutely going to need it, though. So if your league does allow roster churn, it's like very, very likely that Michael Mayer will still be out there on Monday. So you don't need to make those moves now. It's something to get ahead of if need be, should you be a Bowers owner. Also at tight end, Dallas Goedert is kind of surprisingly ruled out. No knee injury, will not be active. He led the Eagles in targets last week. And so whether that's Grant Calcaterra, Kylan Granson, some just kind of gross guys behind him, the real trickle-down effect will be hopefully A.J. Brown can actually get a target in the first half of this game. Hopefully A.J. Brown, I do think this is a spot where he could really rebound, like his odds, plus 195 to score today. Devonta Smith as well. It just feels like a Devonta Smith day. So I like both those guys significantly more than I did entering the week with a big mouth in terms of Dallas Goedert. When it's so condensed in this offense, despite it being a small pie, this should be a good game. I'd get my Eagles wide receivers back in my lineups despite the dud last week. Isaiah Likely out. Oh, tons more routes for Andrews, right? Fat and useless was the words we used to describe him on Thursday. I should get a shirt of Mark Andrews' face and just put fat and useless underneath it. Still begrudgingly playing the guy. He has a good history against Cleveland, and ultimately it's tough to turn down when Likely is out. But I'll tell you this, if the guy completely craps his pants again, like last week, I will be hate cutting Mark Andrews on Monday should he do that. But I think he gets into the end zone. Plus 170 to score today. I don't love those odds. There's other players that I just love significantly more, and I like their odds more. But I do think that he is an intriguing option today, a fringe top 10 guy, Mark Andrews. He better do it. If he doesn't do it today, he's useless. He's gone. We shall see how fat and useless he is entering today. Tyler Warren, the focal point of the offense. We were hinting at that report. According to The Athletic, given the insane cornerback talent of the Broncos, makes sense. He already was, it looked like, the focal point of the offense, Tyler Warren. And so I'm very, very intrigued by him. 4,500 on DraftKings. I forget what his odds are. Campanelli, let me know in the mod share what is the odds for Tyler Warren to score today, because I'm guessing I'm going to like him. If they're anywhere above if Mark Andrews is plus 170 and Tyler Warren's better odds than that, give me him 10 out of 10 times. Very intrigued to see what Tyler Warren is. So we'll have my stat boy over there. Love to see it, Campanelli. That would be a good one if you don't mind looking up. What is Tyler Warren's odds to score today? I think I'm going to enjoy that for sure. Evan Engram, not on the injury report. He had that calf scare, got knocked out of the contest last week. They were already up so big. I doubt it was anything big, probably just some cramps. He finished the week with full sessions. So, I like it, but it was clearly not like, oh, Jimmy Graham, the Joker's back type of situation here as a part-time player, even before the injury. He's fine. I do think the Broncos are going to move it well. I think that offense will find its groove after an ugly showing for Bo Nix in week one. I'm not overly concerned, but let me know if you do have Bo Nix questions as well, because he certainly could be on the bench for a guy like Justin Fields or the like. Mason Taylor, questionable, and Darren Waller not playing, just a couple notes there. And then in terms of the line, Trent Williams is questionable to play. I imagine he will gut it out. It makes a big difference for Mac Jones, this offense, to have an absolute stalwart there at left tackle. We know Giants left tackle Andrew Thomas. He practiced a little bit this week, doubtful. So good when he's on the field, but what a softie. The guy is always got something going on, his foot injury. You're a line. Grow up and play, Andrew Thomas. Your team clearly needs you right now. Speaking of people that need to grow up and actually just start playing, Christian Gonzalez, whether it's 10th week, is hung up with his hamstring as well for the Pats defense. We saw them give up a ton of big plays, the most big plays per pass play last week. It could be a nice Tyreek Hill day, nice rebound. If Rick doesn't do it this week, I think it's absolute panic button time. All righty, folks. Tyler Warren odds are anytime 290. I mean, that's pretty nice. 2 touchdowns, 2,500 as well. I love that plus 290. I'm definitely going to sprinkle in a handful more bets today because I really like that one. Wolfpack, that wraps up the news for us, folks. Thank you again so much. We got about 700 of you, and we're only 20 minutes in, not even. Love to see it. We hit about 2,000 last week, so please do consider that thumbs up button. Would mean the world to start getting that going. Help us get out to more people. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Wolfpack, you know the deal. Let's start diving on into your questions now. Jonas kicking us off. 3:17 a.m. apparently for Jonas over there. Ricky Pearsall or T-Mac at the Panthers? I would go Pearsall today. I know Mac Jones, again, probably the reason we're getting so many Pearsall questions. I still believe Mac Jones is more than capable. I think the system is really what matters there. Jimmy Garoppolo was going to the Super Bowl every other year, and Jimmy Garoppolo is not that good as a Patriots fan. I can promise you that. So Ricky Pearsall, I think, will be just fine with Mac Jones. I am playing him. I like T-Mac. I like the targets. I hate that offense. I think Bryce Young, I need to see him look better. I still will definitely play T-Mac in certain situations, but I love Ricky Pearsall, plus like 8 ECR on the guy this week. Juice Man, what's going on? PPR 12-man. Devontae Adams, my starter. Need wide receiver 2 and flex. Egbuka, Pickens, Hunter, pick 2. You got definitely playing Egbuka. I love it. Last week, if anybody remembers, Egbuka was kind of like the guy of the show. It kept getting asked about him, and I kept saying, I might be crazy, but I'm going Egbuka every single time here. That panned out big, and I'm definitely not expecting that genie to go back in the bottle after 2 scores last week. He is the clear-cut, easy one. I think I'd go Pickens over Hunter myself. There's rumblings that Hunter might play more defensive snaps, and I just think Trevor Lawrence is complete dog mess. I would love to see Nick Mullins take over at quarterback sooner than later there. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they do need, of course, to see what they have in Trevor Lawrence. I was not encouraged by what I saw at all by Lawrence in week 1. And so I'd rate it out with Hunter. I do think Pickens will rebound big, not getting shadowed by Mitchell all day. I believe in PFF's cornerback wide receiver matchups, Pickens was one they highlighted as a great play today as well. Same league, need tight end Fannin or Jauan. 2 of the biggest pickups of the week there, Juice Man. I have a coffee right over here. I'm going to go grab my McDonald's large ice. We were at the Red Sox Yankees last night. And unfortunately, good game, tough outcome for the Red Sox. And your boy needs a little extra coffee today. We will go. This is a very tough one. I think I'm going Jauan Johnson. I don't think my rankings reflect that either. But I am going to go Jauan Johnson for this one. Ultimately, I like his odds too, plus 340 to score a touchdown. I like Jauan Johnson a lot today. I like a lot of the tight end odds these days for tight ends touchdown scores. Just clearly 11 targets, 97% route share for the guy last week. We've always been kind of, Taysom Hill's nibbling his cheese, and Jauan's always good, but he's limited in terms of his snaps and his total routes. That was not the case. And this is like again, Kellen Moore inspired Dalton Schultz role that really made him an absolute stud. So I'm a big fan at Johnson. I know, and I got, of course, Campanelli on the 1-2 in the back. He says I've got Johnson at 14 and Fannin at 11. So I will be adjusting those. I kind of do that as the show goes. It really does help me out. Especially I like helping you guys out. This show is so helpful to actually figure out what I want to do. I don't try not to look at the rankings. So I give you the advice of how I'm feeling after all the studying for the week. And yeah, I feel better about Jauan Johnson today just because I love what Fannin did. And I think if you get another one, it is like, maybe he is like this year's kind of Puka. If you get another one of those target hog days, it's still a lot to bank on, though. We could just see David Njoku come out of the woodwork and be like, nope, I'm still the clear number 1. Fannin gets 2 targets. And we're like, all right, what happened to that guy? And ends up being like an Isaiah Likely situation last year. I don't think that's what happens. I do really like Harold Fannin. I think he will be involved. But it's Jauan Johnson's show there in New Orleans. It seems a little bit more split with Fannin. It's a good matchup, though, against the Ravens chasing points. I totally understand why he's intriguing. But I am bumping Jauan Johnson up in the rankings. I just feel significantly better about him. So I'm going to go – I got to decide between Johnson and Mark Andrews myself. Let me know what you guys think of that. I think I'm going to end up going Andrews because I already have Olave in the lineup. But we'll find out. We'll see. We got a super chat. My man, Mark G. What's going on? Congrats on life. Welcome back. Hey, you as well, brother. I know you've had some exciting news in your life over there too, Mark. Really, really appreciate it. Start Penix or Indiana Jones. I like the nickname for Daniel Jones there. I think I'm going to go Penix with this one. Very intrigued by what I saw from Daniel Jones. I think he's a great roster right now, but against the Broncos, let me see it before I believe it type of situation, Mark, with Daniel Jones. I saw it against the Dolphins, and I think everyone's going to steamroll the Dolphins. I love Drake May today as a play. If Daniel Jones can do it against the Broncos, then I'm like, okay, this is for real, for sure. You're obviously starting for the rushing upside, not the passing anyways, but I think we could see the Broncos completely nuke rather that offense, and they do nothing. So I think there's a lot more risk, whereas you get Penix in the Dome against Minnesota, a good offense there. That game has a lot more shootout potential in my eyes. So I'm going to go with Michael Penix there. Mark G, thank you so much for kicking off the Super Chats. And a second Super Chat coming on in from Damian Dillard. Rome or Hollywood for wide receiver 2, and Brees or loser of the first battle at flex. So you're definitely playing Brees Hall. Love the matchup. We just saw, and it's Derrick Henry, so we're not going to say apples to oranges. Derrick Henry's going to steamroll pretty much everybody, but ultimately, that Bills defense was just getting gashed play after play after play. So I think that's going to be a real weakness. They had a softer run D last year too, and I really was encouraged by what we saw from the Jets in week 1. Fields blew any expectations. I thought, based on the practice reports, 4 of 10, 2 completions on the day. Everybody talking about how he was like the worst person that ever existed, apparently, at quarterback. And then he comes out and balls. And that's kind of what Fields does, just a baller. When the lights come on Sunday, whether he wins or loses, the man puts up points. The man gets it done for fantasy. And I like it. And I do think Brees Hall, you could see some of those cutback lanes really open up with that mobile rushing threat. And he had a 19% target share too. So to me, Brees Hall is a no-brainer. Really, really into him. Rome versus Hollywood is tougher. Hollywood's certainly safer. You got more of a volume net there. Other than the fact that the guy's like hamstring could just like pull at any moment. He's still an injury risk. So I think everybody's like, oh, Hollywood's so safe this week. I have to start him. So, I hope nothing bad happens. But we can't be pretending like Hollywood Brown is suddenly this like completely risk-free asset. The guy gets hurt like anybody's business. So I hope it doesn't happen. I would be going Rome. If I have Hollywood in my lineup, so I like to judge it that way. If I had Rome on my team, I would be going him. He looks like the clear number 1 wide receiver against Detroit. We just saw, they looked atrocious in week 1. I think Ben Johnson's going to want to stick it to, not that he has like any bad blood there, but it's, you're facing your big brother out there. You want little bro to win, right? He's going to want to go at him. So I do like Rome this week. I think he's going to have a nice day against Detroit. Flex, Moore, Hunter, Keenan Allen. I would go, and thank you so much, Manny. Thank you, Damian. And thank you, Mark G, for the super chats. For Moore, Hunter, or Keenan Allen. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. That's a good one, Manny. I'm leaning DJ Moore. We saw him moving all over the place, getting some backfield snaps, carries, very involved. Keenan Allen, leading the way with 10 targets was no joke. I just don't know that I buy that every week. If we do get Herbert slinging it as often as he did on that Friday night game against the Chiefs, then yeah, Keenan Allen will be a weekly viable play. I still think, 1 week sample that completely is different from what we saw last year with Greg Roman and 10 years of data on Greg Roman is that he just runs and runs and runs some more. Maybe he is calling a completely different offense this year and he's just going to let Justin Herbert sling it. They're trying to get Justin Herbert the MVP, that type of narrative. I've heard it and I don't completely discount it. I think it could be in the realm of possibility. I think we're still, though, with the Lions, Bears. I'd rather have some action on that. So I'm going to go with DJ Moore. I like all 3 of these options, though, Manny. And then Hunter, Andrews, or Fannin for tight end. It comes down to Andrew versus Fannin. I'm going Andrew, so maybe I'm biased. I'm giving him 1 more week, and then I'm hate cutting him if he doesn't get it done today, Manny. But he has a good track record against the Browns. Ultimately, I think Lamar and him will hook up for a touchdown today after a really just nothing debut in week 1. I'm going to go for 1 more time with Andrews today and hope he gets it done. I have Andrews 12 and Fannin at 13. So very, very close, but I am leaning there. I just want to confirm to my rankings with DJ Moore. I have him at 27, just above Travis Hunter and Keenan Allen as well. So yes, we're in lockstep with the rankings there. Eli, very generous of you, very kind to just give $10 and say, good to see you. Great to see you too, Eli. I'm not sure, Campanelli, if you see a question for Eli or if he's just being very generous and saying thank you. But if you do find a question for Eli, feel free to pick that up. But thank you so, so much, Eli. Very, very kind, very generous of you. Thank you, everybody, for those super chats. That does wrap up the super chats for right now. Very kind and generous again of you all. Free way to help your boy out, though, is that thumbs up button. Please do consider hitting that for us to help us get out to more people. Hit that subscribe button, as my man David Campanelli reminds you all. Please do hit that like button. Super chats are the way to go as well if you want to jump the line. And then we had Juice Man. He has no tight end. Honestly, need 2 starting receivers, 1 flex because I have Brees in my flex. So pick 3: Hill, Evans, Hollywood, Pearsall, Pickens. Who is my 2 odd man out? I would go with, I'm playing Evans, Pearsall, and Tyreek in that one. I'm benching Hollywood and Pickens. That's going to be a tough one, Juice Man, because you have so many boom bust guys that every other week you're going to have the wrong guy on the bench. Like Pickens is going to be on your bench this week. He's going to erupt for 2 touchdowns. You put him in and for Tyreek, and Tyreek's on your bench and suddenly he's the one that has 3 touchdowns. That's going to be a tough situation all year for you with those boom busters. But for me, I think the best shots at the booms this week are Evans, Pearsall, and Tyreek. I like all 3 of them a lot this week. All righty. We are on to King Retros. Thank you so much. Let me get a little water real quick. King Retros, as we hit 1,000 viewers. Love to see it. 30 minutes in and we get to our first 1,000. Love to see it. Thank you again so much for being here. Half PPR. I have Amon-Ra and Jacoby Myers at receiver, Henry and Pollard at running back. Do I flex Sutton or Flowers? Ooh, good question here. Certainly safer with Sutton, less risk of getting game flowed. And I think that is where I ultimately lean. I love what I saw from Flowers. Heavily involved. 19 passes for Lamar, 9 of them going in the direction of Zay Flowers. Beautiful stuff. And creatively getting the carries. I mean, he looked electric with the ball in his hands. Huge fan of the guy. I just think against Cleveland, are they really going to need to throw? We might see even 19 pass attempts and he still blew it up. So it's like, okay, yeah, they're going to throw less than 19 times. Well, maybe. I just feel good about Sutton, Indy, weak secondary. He's going to get the target hog looks there. So I'm going to go with Sutton there myself. Although I will say, King Retros, I'd play Zay Flowers over Jacoby Myers myself too. Happy PR. I have JSN and BTJ at wide receiver. Gibbs, Achane. Great start. Whew. Do I flex Pollard, Evans, or Buka this week? Much love as always. I'm definitely going to lean into a Bucks wide receiver. Buka versus Evans becomes tough. I actually lean Buka these days. Just looked more involved in that sense. So, yeah, I go with Buka there. Good call on Tucker Kraft. I'm glad I got it right for you, Bulldog. Let's go. He looked like an absolute animal, huh? Please pick one half PPR. Ridley, Boutte, or Dylan Sampson. I'm going to go Ridley very, very slightly over Boutte. And if you're feeling the Boutte today, I'd be happy to just say, yep, he's got the stamp of approval. Big fan of him. And so, yeah, I do like Kayshon Boutte. I'm going to pump him over Waddle, Diggs, Johnston, Jerry Jeudy. I like Boutte a lot as the Patriots target hog. So I'm going to be about 10 spots above the ECR on Kayshon Boutte. But I still do like Ridley to have his kind of coming out party. Not going to hold last week's dud against the Broncos against him. Every number 1 receiver duds against the Broncos. Pat Surtain is just an absolute stud. So I think Ridley, Cam Ward, they kind of get it going this week. Bulldog. Brian Hill, full PPR. Quick sip of water. Need to decide between Pollard, Ridley, and Keon Coleman for the flex spot. I'd go with Pollard. I mean, even Khalil Mullings is now doubtful. There's nobody else for him to compete with. Spears on the IR. Mullings probably not playing. This should be the Pollard show. It's a solid Rams run D. I still really like Pollard. I think he gets into the end zone this week, so that is where I lean. Mark tossing in a super chat, but I am not seeing a question to go with it. Thank you so much for the support, Mark. My man Campanelli will be on the lookout for your question and a question for Eli as well if he ends up having one. Let me know, Campanelli, if you track anything down. For those guys, feel free to pull it out. But thank you so much, Mark, for the super chat. We'll be on the lookout for your question. In the meantime, Fannin or Hawkinson? Hawkinson was so ugly in week 1. I still think on the turf, shootout potential game against a bad Falcons defense, I'm going to give TJ another shot. But man, it's very simple to go back to Fannin. If Hawkinson duds yet again, we can go to Fannin. But Fannin's one of those ones again. I trust my eyes. Loved what I saw. Heavily involved. One play in particular where Flacco bought himself a little extra time, and Fannin was the only receiver working downfield, getting himself open. The guy has like those NFL instincts. There's a reason he led the NCAA in yardage for like everybody, not just wide receivers or tight ends. So yeah, I am a big fan of Fannin, but I still think this is another chance for TJ Hawkinson. Great spot. Atlanta, a terrible, terrible defense. I think they're going to really have a fun game there tonight, and I want all the pieces I can get there. So Mark was asking, it says 8:36. So let me pull up Mark's super chatted question. Thank you again, Mark, for your chat. So it says 8:36. So let me jump ahead to my man, Mark. There it is. Pollard, Tet McMillan, or Travis Hunter in the flex. This is another one where I am going to lean Pollard. It comes down to Tet versus Pollard for me. I think Travis Hunter, a distant third. It obviously as explosive as can be any given play. He's the best one of these three. Should he break one? But I don't trust Trevor Lawrence. They're talking about maybe upping the defensive workload for Travis Hunter as well. I would much rather go with the sure bets for volume, which will be Tet and Pollard. We're probably going to get 8 to 12 weekly targets for Tet. Pollard's in line for 20-ish touches this week with no Tajay Spears, no Mullings. I'm going to lean into the running back there, Mark, and go with Pollard myself. Very, very close, though. If you've ended up deciding to pivot to Tet, I wouldn't blame you. But I go Pollard myself. The pure volume bet should get into the end zone today as well. RB2, Ken Walker, Jordan Mason. This is the one that scares me. That one is scary, Manny. And thank you for the second super chat of the day. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. I would lean, this is tough. You're looking at two committee backs at this point. It was clear that Walker and Charbonnet are both going to kind of be interchangeable. I got to go one more time at Ken Walker. We've seen how explosive he is when he can get going. I am worried that Charbonnet looked better, that Charbonnet got as much volume and produced more with it. Yeah, that does worry me, no doubt. But I don't want to completely give up on Walker because you're looking at two committee backs at this point anyways. Mason, if he gets into the end zone, sure, and a good chance that they're going to be in the red zone given that defense. I don't know, actually. This is a tough one because you look at the matchup for the Vikings, and if I expect them to be putting up points and Mason is the goal line back, then, yeah, he's probably a good bet to get into the end zone. Man, it's a really, really tough one, Manny. I'm still going to go Ken Walker and just hope he pulls this out here and looks like the better half of that committee. We'll find out, but just the explosiveness, that when that zone game gets going, it's going to be deadly. We saw it cooking for Charbonnet this last week. I think we can get Ken Walker rolling as well because he just needs one lane and he's gone type of runner. So I'm going to go with Ken Walker there. Very, very tight call, though, Manny. Thank you again so much for the double super chats. Greatly, greatly appreciate the support, brother. All righty, we were leaving off at, I believe I found it right here. We're at Fannin or Hawkinson. And so we thank you for recommending Ertz. Hey, there you go. Thursday Night Football worked out. Ertz was a beast. Full PPR, and I have Dobbins, JMO, Tracy, Diggs. Who should I start for two flex between these four options? Glad you're already starting out well with Ertz. I'm going to go with the first two, Dobbins and JMO. Dobbins, 16 carries, clearly ahead of RJ Harvey to begin the year. Good spot against the Colts as well. And then I got to go for the JMO blow-up. Welcome home. Welcome back to your dome. I think that the Lions offense proves last week was a fluke and erupts. If not, then this is the panic button's out for Lions fans, right? It's taken out of the drawer, not hit yet, but this would be a week where you absolutely panic if they look flat at home. But we know Goff typically is much better at home than on the road. And I just think this will be a nice coming out party for the Lions offense. And hopefully we get a fun shootout style game there. So I'm going JMO and Dobbins for that one. And let's keep the good times rolling. Juan Pena, good to see you. We are back indeed. Who for my wide receiver 1 and 2 spots? Devontae Adams, Hollywood Brown, Calvin Austin, not him, Quentin Johnson, Kayshon Boutte, Henderson, and Chubb or Charbonnet. A lot of intriguing options here. I'm going to go with, for the 2 wide receivers, definitely Devontae and Hollywood. And then it comes down to Boutte or Henderson for the flex. which Patriot should we go into more? I'm going with Henderson. I think we're going to up the workload today, and we see him perform as the most explosive player on the field. So I'm going to go with Adams, Hollywood, and Henderson. But, man, I'm very intrigued by Kayshon Boutte as well. Kenneth Walker or Keon Coleman for the flex. I'm going to go with Keon Coleman. The way he took over that fourth quarter, it seems like him and Josh just connected on a different level, and I hope that chemistry continues to go through. Now, the Jets, maybe not a great matchup. You think Sauce Gardner in the past? I don't know. We saw him getting absolutely cooked and Aaron Rodgers cooking that defense last week. And so I'm going to go with Keon Coleman for that one. What's going on with Giuseppe? Let's get this dub indeed. Dobbins or Monty when you start Gibbs? I feel like you always ask this one, Giuseppe. And I remember on Thursday we said Dobbins. I'm sticking with Dobbins. I don't love – that is one of the lines backfield that you can get away with it. Don't love doing it if I don't have to. And I think Dobbins is a great reason to not do it. Giuseppe saying pick 2, quarterback and superflex. Murray, Mahomes, Fields, McCarthy, or Rodgers. I would go Fields as my first choice. A lot of good quarterback options. I'm surprised you're allowed to roster that many quarterbacks, Giuseppe, in a 2 QB league. Got like a monopoly on the quarterback market. I'm going to say Fields is my top choice. And, I mean, Kyler does get Carolina. I don't love Kyler, but if there's ever a week I'm going to play him, like you can run all over. They get 170 rush yards in week 1. And trend of last year being the worst run defense seems to be fully in play. So Murray scampering in the end zone, that wouldn't surprise me at all. So I'll go Murray and Fields and get those guys in there. Mahomes very close behind there. So if you felt better about, Mahomes over either guy, sure. I personally like going Murray and Fields in this case. Eric, Mr. Lucky Schaefer, Bo Nix, Gino, or Penix. Kind of want to sit Nix for a week. Send him a message. Yeah, that last week was unacceptable, Mr. Lucky. Bo Nix, I do think he has a good week this week, but you can sit him if I was going to bench him. Now, I do have him the highest here, but I only have him one spot above Penix. So if you want to send a message and say, hey, that's unacceptable, ride some pine, learn from behind Penix here, I'm totally fine with that, Eric. They're one spot within each other. Now, I do go Bo Nix myself. He's the one I pick, but you got to trust your gut. If you think you need to send the message, go for it. Waddle or Shakir, I'm going to go with Shakir O. And then for tight end, I'm going to go Fannin over Hunter Henry. It is full PPR. I feel like Hunter Henry's getting into the end zone today. I remember saying on Thursday I wanted to bump him up, and I'm not sure that I actually did bump him up enough. Oh, it's tight end 13 and 14 too. I'll tell you, I think I would be playing both those guys over Mark Andrews too. I'm going to bump Andrews down. I have him in my lineup, and I just don't feel great about it. I like Hunter Henry today. I'm bumping Hunter Henry up. He's my tight end 12. I think he's getting into the end zone against the Dolphins. Frog. What's up, Frog? Good morning. Would you start Hollywood Brown or KW9 half PPR? Thank you. I guess this is a good one to kind of wait and see on Walker. I think he's going to have a nice day. I do think that he rebounds this run game gets cooking a little bit more. But you got a 16-target guy right there in Hollywood Brown. So I'm leaning that direction, and now that I can kind of play that once I see it from Kenneth Walker, I can get him back in there. I think I'm going to wait till I see it for Kenneth Walker, and I would play Hollywood Brown in this case. Let me just see where Hollywood Brown landed in my rankings. Marquis 33. Yeah, that's about right for me. Perfect. Stephen Berry. Morning Wolf, I know you're a Pats guy, PPR league. Would you go Boutte or Waddle at the flex? I'm going Boutte, and I know he already called out my biases, and very fair to do so. But I like Boutte. Waddle banged up last week. You kind of saw what you hate in Jalen Waddle. Banged up, not very involved. The offense is crumbling. Players-only meeting. Is this the soonest a team has ever had a players-only meeting? I think that's just going to hell there in Miami. And, I would certainly – I'm going Boutte in a full PPR league. But maybe that's my Pats bias coming through. Mike P., thank you so much for your generosity today. PPR league, need 2 of these 3. Tony Pollard, Travis Etienne, J-Mo Williams. Which 2 do you like more? Ooh, love all of them. And it pains me to say it because I was not an Etienne guy in the preseason. That's one I clearly think I swung and missed on. I did talk a lot about that backfield being one you wanted to target, but I was more so going after Kayshon Boutte, who I still really like. It's going to be the Etienne show, though, until he hands over the keys, especially with Bigsby now removed. So I'm definitely going Travis Etienne, and I'm going to go with Tony Pollard as well. We got a few questions on Pollard here today. I get it. It wasn't overly efficient in week one, but we're talking about nearly every snap. Now you have Khalil Mullins, who could have been a goal line vulture, removed as well. It's going to be a Tony Pollard day. I think we're getting 20-ish carries. I think Cam Ward at home, debut. I do think the Rams win, but I think we get a little bit more feistiness out of this Titans team. I mean, they played the Broncos really tough. And I know they didn't put up a ton of points, but that's one of the best defenses in the league. So I like the Titans today, not to win, but I think they'll be a little feisty on offense. So I like Ridley. I like Tony Pollard. And again, you're getting 20-ish carries, maybe 4 targets. It's a tough workload to turn down. And I love Jamo. He's always a tricky one to add to these questions, Mike. It's like you play it safe. You get your 20 carries from both running backs. That's what I would do with that just terrifying thought in the back of my head. Like, this could be the Jamo 2-touchdown day. He is a roller coaster, and then this home opener feels like a good spot for him to erupt. But I was a little discouraged by, of course, the whole offense. And certainly Jamo, it just didn't seem like he was all the talk of more yak opportunities, more shallow routes, all that stuff. Didn't come a ton into fruition. So he's another one of those, like, if I can wait and see it, I will. And I know it hurts to wait and see, because when you do see it with Jamo, it's like 30 points on your bench. That's going to hurt. But you got 2 20-touch running backs there. I think going any other direction would be unwise. I'll go with the sure volume there. Hope Jamo does not blow up on your bench for you. It's going to happen at some points this year, though. For now, trust the 2 running backs, Mike, is how I would play that. Thank you so much for your generosity. I greatly, greatly appreciate it, brother. We were at on there. We got to Frog. We got to Stephen Burry. And now we are at Philzy. Starting Higgins and Neighbors at wide receiver. Flex, Hill, Evans, Ridley, or Montgomery. Leaning Monty. I would go, this is a tough one. I would go Evans myself. Leaning Monty, safe, good bet for a touchdown if this Lions team figures it out. I kind of want to wait and see this Lions team figure it out right now. I think Evans rebounds in a big way. Now, I'm biased. I have Evans on my team. Maybe it is just the Igbuka show. I have Igbuka higher in my rankings. I think this is a good spot to get back into Evans, though. I'm going to go Evans out of those ones myself. Have Jake Ferguson starting and Loveland on the bench. Do I drop Loveland for Strange, half PPR? I don't think so. Especially if it's just the bench, right? Like, I think Strange and Ferguson are just kind of the same. You're going to get a little bit of volume. I think Ferguson's the better offense, so I'll go with that one too. I think Loveland, you're stashing him to see him eventually take over as the true number 1 tight end there and get Ben Johnson's magic, what he did with Sam Laporta. Will it happen? I'm not sure, but Loveland is a phenomenal prospect. The first tight end drafted in this class, they took him over Tyler Warren. I don't know if I would agree with that move, but a better complete tight end perhaps. And so I think if you're just stashing someone on the bench, Giuseppe, Loveland is the better upside to stash in my eyes. Jacoby Myers or Javonte Williams for the Smitty. I lean Javonte, the clear lead back in week 1, gets a Giants team. I believe he's minus 120 to score. Javonte Williams, one of the higher odds of the day is Javonte Williams to score a touchdown, and I think he does. Jacoby should be a good bet. If Bowers was going to be out, I think this is a much trickier question. But I think with Bowers in, Myers still obviously looked great in week 1. But yeah, I go with Javonte Williams for that one. I just realized my banner still says the Wolves draft guide is here. I forgot to put on the weekly banners there. So I'll get that fixed for next week. No need to buy the draft guide. The drafts are long done. Scooped up Boutte in all my leagues. Need him to be the next Nico Collins. Hey, he sure could be. Wide receiver U, LSU. That's who our guide Tanner Smoove has compared Boutte to. He's been doing that since the summer. So he's been well ahead of the Boutte train. And the Boutte train. Jamo Williams or Boutte in a 12-team PPR. I do think Boutte's safer, actually, which is crazy. But I got to go Jamo. In that case, Tyler Gibson is where I would lean. Nico Collins or Pearsall. I'm not going to give up on Nico quite this early, Eric, Mr. Lucky Schaefer. I do love Pearsall today, but not enough to bench Nico Collins myself. Charbonnet or Harvey for Mr. Lucky. I'm going Charbonnet. maybe the 1A at this point in that backfield. I liked how he looked in the scheme, certainly better than Walker. So I have Charbonnet a spot higher than Walker, and I have him a couple spots higher. Harvey looked amazing with that 50-yard run, but he's clearly behind J.K. Dobbins as of right now. So I feel better about Charbonnet getting work today. Give that thumbs up, people. Share and subscribe. Let's get this man out to the masses, best in the biz. Thank you so much, Giuseppe. Please do. 1,300 a year, not bad. And certainly not the masses, right? I'm not on ESPN or anything, but that's a healthy amount here for week 2, and we haven't even hit the first hour mark. You love to see it, but a thumbs up button, a heart, a share, a retweet does help us get out to more people. And of course, those subscribes. We'd love to keep bumping the channel as we climb towards 5K. Thank you so much, Giuseppe. J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb? I'm going J.K. Dobbins. Chubb, yeah, the clear lead back. Was it get you 60 scoreless yards? Yeah, that seems about right for Chubb. Whereas Dobbins, much higher touchdown upside with the Broncos there. Yek, half PPR, need 3, Henderson, Swift, Dobbins, Hollywood, JMO, Ricky P. I'm going to go Ricky P. I'm going to go a lot of great options, like all in that same kind of grouping, Yek. This is a tough one to sift through. So I'm just going to kind of go off the gut here. I'm going to go Ricky. I'm going to go Henderson. I'm going to go JMO. Dobbins and Swift, safer volume bets, yes. Swift revenge game narrative, though, too. Maybe I do pivot to Swift. He had so much volume, didn't look so good, but the role was great. So I hope those things balance out here in week 2, revenge game. I'll go Ricky, Swift, Henderson, but you did hear that gut call, like, hey, JMO, right off the knee-jerk reaction. A lot of good options, though. That's going to be a nightmare all year. But I'll give you the 3 I'd play today, Ricky, Hendo, and Swift. Jags tight end Strange or Hawkinson for Mr. Preble. Good to see you, Charlie. I'd go with Hawkinson. Like I said, I'd like that game tonight on the turf, Sunday Night Football. Let it rip. Zeke, what's going on? Great to see you, Coach. I have a couple questions. Half PPR. Should I start Pacheco or Benson with some weird face emojis? Deservedly so, Mr. Coach Zeke. Great to see you. I would go with Pacheco. I know 5 carries for him, 5 carries for Hunt. And he is getting Eagles run D. Benson does get the Panthers too. You know what, Zeke? I don't think my rankings reflect this, but I'd rather have it. And Benson looked good last week. He was involved last week. I think the Cardinals blow him out, and maybe that opens the door for a little bit more burn there for Benson. I'm going to put Benson above Pacheco in my rankings. I feel okay about that. So Pacheco needs to come down. Yeah, Pacheco's too high. Maybe he takes that backfield back over. He looked better than I expected, but if he looks better, then why is he sharing carries right now with Kareem Hunt? Makes 0 sense to me. So yeah, I'm swapping those guys out and bumping Pacheco down. Thank you, Zeke, for asking a quick question that made me think and adjust the rankings. Robbie, who to flex, Aaron Jones or JMO? I'd go JMO there. I like Aaron Jones, caught that nice touchdowns, but 35% of the carries. This is definitely a split backfield at this point, and carries wise, it doesn't favor Aaron Jones. So if he doesn't catch a touchdown again, he might be out of luck. So I'm going to go JMO, go for the blow up there, Robbie. Robert Christensen, Sampson or Aaron Jones, full PPR with Judkins now active. I would lean Aaron Jones on this one. Full PPR is certainly where you like Aaron Jones a bit more. I'm going to go Aaron Jones over Sampson for that one, Robert. Wayne, 49ers or Rams D? I like the Rams against the Titans today. I do think that the Titans get a little frisky at home. Even still, that can come with a good Rams defensive performance. So I'm going to go with the Rams. Like both options, fourth option for the number 4 is the 49ers, but number 2 is the Rams for me. Michael Penix or Daniel Jones? I would lean Hollywood French Bulls. I'm going Penix. Again, that Broncos matchup, tough spot for Indy. I love the Dome game tonight. I think it's going to be a fun one. I like what I saw from Penix last week, too. Running in for a score was nice. So give me Penix in that one. For a flex, who should I ride with? Boutte, Thornton, Palmer, Swiss Army Knife, Harold Fannin. I love that you have Warren, too. I'm going with Boutte over there. It comes down to Boutte versus Fannin for me, Coach Zeke, and I'm going to go Boutte very slightly. Love the matchup against the Dolphins. According to PFF, he's got the best corner matchup there, too, does Boutte, of the week. And so I'm going to lean him very slightly. I trust the volume Boutte got a little more than the volume that Harry Fannin got. But I do love that Swiss Army Knife. I think he's going to be a stud this year. David B, start 2. T-Mac, Pearsall, Pickens. I got to go with Pearsall and T-Mac, a little safer than Pickens, safer bet for volume there, Davey. Even though any given week Pickens could erupt, I like playing the sure bets for volume over him. Fannin over Njoku, says Tyler Gibson. I would. Call me crazy. I think I would do that, though, yes. He was clearly ahead of him in week 1. So, yeah, I think I'm going Harry Fannin over David Njoku. Could be the Njoku rebound week. We'll see. But, yes, I kind of like doing that. Coach Zeke, I have Herbie fully loaded. Let's go. May or JJ. I am going Herbie. Drake May is right there for me. Man, you got 3 of my favorite quarterbacks. But, yeah, I'm going Herbie fully loaded. The Konami upside, running for nearly 30 yards on 6 carries, scrambling a bit more, throwing 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's cooking. I think they're going to – there's a lot of validity to those reports that they're just, like, out there to get him the MVP this year. And you know, he looked great. So, yes, I'm going to go – he's just safer. As much as I love the May matchup, like, didn't love what he played. At least Herbert, there's no question on the talent. The guy looked amazing. May, I got some questions. I'm Baskin. I wish I didn't have questions. He did not look great in week 1. Love the matchup, love playing him today, but yeah, I'm worried, a little worried as a Pats fan. And would I cut any of them? Yeah, I'd cut JJ. You don't need 3 quarterbacks. I'd cut JJ for Blue. Make sure Blue's active. If he's inactive today, then no reason to rush out there. But should he be active? I mean, if he was active on week 1, in ahead of Miles Sanders, he scores on that one that Miles Sanders got caught. And now suddenly Blue is everybody's in on, everybody's going after him. Beat the rush. Get there before everybody starts waking back up to him. Robert Christensen. Pick 2. Henry, Strange, Fannin, Pitts. I'm going to go Henry and Fannin. 2 top 12 tight ends. Yeah, get him in. Like it. Lightning McQueen. That's what's going on. Good movie. Dak or Trevor Lawrence. I would go Dak. I don't like Trevor Lawrence at all. I mean, there's a good matchup since he should do it. But didn't do it last week in a good matchup. I don't like Trevor Lawrence at all. I think he's trash. Olave, Javonte, or Judy in the flex. I got to go with Javonte in that one. One of the best bets on the day for touchdown odds, -120. So Vegas loves him to score. I like him to score. I like Olave playing catch-up too in a full PPR, but I think Javonte, I mean, it's a matter of like 2 touchdowns again, is it? Maybe. So, yeah, I like Javonte. Lions D or Seahawks D? I would lean. I'm gonna go. I don't love either of them. That's why it's taking me a quick second. I wanted to check my rankings, like where I have these guys. I don't love either of them, Robert. I like the Lions more, I guess, because I just don't like the Seahawks. But I would say, in terms of streamers, are the Cowboys out there? Are the Pats out there? Teams that I like a little bit more, for sure. I'm bumping the Cowboys up today, facing the Giants. Russell Wilson starting, yeah, I like the Cowboys all day. So see if those guys are out there. But if not, that is where I would lean myself. And then we left off. Sorry, I lost my place there. We were at, because there's a couple super chats. Thank you guys again so much for the generosity. There we are. TKG, Trevor Lawrence or CJ. I don't like neither. Joe Flacco instead. Honestly, I really would. But if I had to pick one of those 2, TKG, I would go Trevor Lawrence and hope they're chasing points against the Bengals. Johnny, half PPR. Start DeAndre Swift or DJ Moore versus the Lions. I would go. I'd go DeAndre Swift. Much safer bet for the volume. It's just a matter of like who does more. I think DeAndre Swift has a nice rebound in this revenge game. I have Njoku, Jonnu Smith, and Jawan Johnson. Would you drop Jonnu for Harold Fannin Jr.? Yeah, I would. I don't know if I need to roster 3 tight ends, Hollywood French Bowls, but I'd rather certainly have Harold Fannin than Jonnu Smith. I don't see much value to Jonnu at all. Simp, full PPR, Ibuka or Garrett Wilson. Oh, man, 2 of my favorite plays this week. I love how Fields looked. I love how Garrett Wilson looked. I was very impressed, very surprised, pleasantly surprised. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson, very, very slightly simp over Ibuka. But, I mean, if you have Baker, maybe you do stack him up. I think Garrett Wilson's in a great spot this week, though. So I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. But I have him only one spot above Ibuka, so it's very close. Ferguson or Fannin Jr.? I like Fannin Jr. there. KJ Fedrick for sure. Roshan, a sneaky pickup? He's sneaky. Is he good? I don't know. But sneaky, sure. I think it's worth seeing because Monangai didn't do anything. I think there is going to be value in a Ben Johnson offense that has historically had two very good running backs. It's worth a stab, Robert, but there might be better stabs you can make today. Coach Zeke Fitness. Start 1 QB. Herbie fully loaded. I think we answered this one, right? Yeah, we're going Herbie, and I would cut JJ for there's a few more options here. I would go Blue for those. Baker or Drake May for this guy. I really like Drake May's matchup. It's tough to bench Baker. He keeps having just insane efficiency, yards per attempt. But I like this matchup. I think I'm going to go with May there. Schultz or Okonkwo or Jonnu Smith. I would go, with all the tight ends out there, Robbie, between Fannin and Jauan, these are the best you got. I go Okonkwo of these, but don't love it. Robbie, I hope maybe some of those other guys are there. Eli, thank you so much. He says he's just hanging. Great to see you. Thank you again for giving that generous super chat, despite not even having a question. Your boy appreciates it. Thank you so much, Eli. Lastly, defense. Would you keep Vikings or Cowboys, Houston, Seattle, New England? Feeling Falcons can and will put up points. I trust that gut, Zeke. I would personally lean into the Cowboys today over the Vikings. Start 3, Hollywood, Allen, Pearsall, Tillman, Jamo. I'm guessing Allen is Braylon Allen, or it could be Keenan Allen. We do have to specify that. Probably Keenan actually is the better bet. I would definitely go Pearsall. I would definitely go Jamo. And I'm going to go Hollywood just slightly over Keenan Allen myself. I'm going to make sure the Cowboys are actually above some of these defenses because I do really feel good about them today. Jamo, Hunter, or Boutte, flex spot. I'm going to go Jamo for that flex spot, James Wilson. I do like him to bump up. Aiden, welcome back to you, sir. Great to see you. Half PPR, Jauan or Juju? I got to go Jauan there. Guaranteed, we saw that roll. 97% route share, 11 targets, leading the team, looking solid. Plus, he's got that porn star mustache. I mean, come on, get porn star in there. Whereas Juju's like a hypothetical. Should his role rise? Yes. Will his role rise? Not sure. So I'm going to go with Jauan. We've already seen it. So yeah, I lean into that. We got the 1 hour mark, 1,492, almost 1,500 live viewers. Thank you so much. That is awesome for week 2. If you haven't already, 1,500 you here, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, hit the share, the retweet, all that good stuff. It would be so greatly appreciated. Love to have you subscribe over on YouTube. If you're catching us on Twitter, help us boost those numbers up. We're aiming for 5K on YouTube by the end of the month, and your help would be so greatly appreciated. Mr. Vetter, morning to you. Pickens or Travis Hunter? I'm going to go with Pickens. I am a little, in the case of boom bust guys, give me the one playing with Dak Prescott instead of Trevor Lawrence, especially with the rumblings being that Hunter might get a little bit more of defensive workload this week. Pollard, oh yeah, this was after the super chat, so we said Pollard and Tet. Should I stash Najee? Asked Byron. He's a handcuff. He's fine as a handcuff. Do I need to stash him? No. It depends who you're cutting him for. It depends who else is out there, but I think he should be rostered. DJ Moore or Jamo? I'm going to go DJ Moore, slightly prodigy, over Jameson Williams. Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason for Harrison Ray? That one's going to give you headaches all year. It is full PPR. If that is the case in those settings, I do go Aaron Jones, the bigger pass catcher upside. 4 to 5 catches. You have the better touchdown bet for Jordan Mason, but I feel like there's just a better chance of Aaron Jones racking up some catches. Even though I do like Jordan Mason to score too. I just like Aaron Jones in that case. Robbie, still deciding on defense. San Fran or Arizona. San Fran's versus New Orleans. Arizona's Carolina. Both good options. I like San Fran, though, facing Spencer Rattler. I think they'll get after him today. Robert Christensen. Play 3. Allen, Jackson, Mahomes, Fields. 3 QB Superflex. Is this like a 16-team league? What is this, Robert? All righty. So we got to pick 3 of these. I'm going to go with Field. You're playing Allen and Jackson. I mean, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, like you're never benching those two. Come on. So it really just comes down to, you could have just asked Mahomes versus Fields, and I go Fields this week myself. Coach Zeke Fitness in my other half PPR league, Walker or Sampson. I go with Walker, especially with Judkins now active there, Coach Zeke. I do think Sampson will be involved as a pass catcher, sure, but I could see Judkins just kind of walking right in and taking over that backfield. He's super talented. Size speed freak. And start two. Pearsall, I will say again, I love what's his name? Quinshon Judkins as a touchdown scorer today. I think he's a great bet. Plus 500. Pearsall, Igbuka, Jamo. I'd be benching Jamo there. Feel a lot better for the steady volume of Pearsall and Igbuka. Kyle Siebert audio. QJ or Coleman? I'm going to go with Coleman there. Do like QJ a bit. QJ and Shakir, or Shakir and Coleman. In that case, I probably diversify a little bit and go QJ and Coleman is how I would probably play that one. Is A.J. Brown going to bounce back? I feel he will. No Goddard, so you remove 7 of the targets last week, and that really does mean a lot when there's only so much volume. And against the Eagles, against the Super Bowl rematch against the Chiefs, I think Brown bounces back. They gave up the most points to wide receivers last week. We saw Justin Herbert throw 3 TDs on him like it was nobody's business. I think A.J. Brown gets deep this week. Yeah, I do. Wouldn't shock me if he had 2 touchdowns, to be honest. Do you think Tyreek has a good day versus Pats or use Cup? I would definitely use Tyreek. I mean, you're looking at 2 potential duds. Why not go for the one that has a true 30-point ceiling? Cup? It's actually a pretty good matchup for slot receivers, and I still just no thank you. I'm going to go with Tyreek in that one. Should you start Aaron Rodgers or Drake May? Definitely Drake May for me against the Miami Dolphins. Rodgers looked great. I'm very impressed, honestly. And I hate Aaron Rodgers, but he looked good. That arm was live. But I just think that game got out of hand fast, and I don't think they're going to – that's not what the Steelers want any given week, and I don't think they're going to need to against the Seahawks. So I like Drake May. I mean, the 2 rushing touchdowns for Daniel Jones last week, I could see Drake May getting in for at least one plus 425 to run for one today. Love that. TKG, still PPR. Ferguson or Engram and Titans or Cowboys. Leaning Ferg and Cowboys, and I am leaning the same exact way. TKG. I don't know why anybody would consider the Titans at all. But yes, I feel like Ferg over Engram right now. Surf Rat, Dak Prescott or Drake May. Drake May. Drake May. My 5-month-old daughter might be tuning in downstairs, and I want her to learn the words Drake May. We're a household divided. Giants fan is my wife. I'm a Pats fan. It's tough. But she needs to be a Pats fan. So Drake May. But I do also actually like Drake May over Prescott. It's that Miami matchup on that crumbling team. I love it. Wolfie, what's up, Kyle? Good to see you, brother. Start Bowers? Yes, William. So I think you have to pick up Meyer. And I play Bowers. Like he's the definition of worth the wait. And if you don't get him, I would probably have, like, if Bowers is ruled out, I'd probably have Meyer ahead of Pitts. So I play Michael Myers, Halloween Michael Myers, should Bowers be ruled out. But yes, you have to get an option to wait for him. And William, he's well worth the wait. Yes, I'm going to play him. Should you start drinking May or put on the bench? I'll drink him up, baby. I'm going to drink May all day. I would rather have Drake May in, and I'd drink him up too. Thank you, Gabe. Jeff Chulo, half PPR. Adams, Tet, or Hollywood, pick 2. I would be benching Hollywood. I like him this week, but you just got 3 great options there. I think Adams looking solid with the Rams. Didn't blow up by any means, but Titans do have a good secondary. Hollywood, like, again, I had to start him this week. I kind of wish I didn't have to, because how many times have we seen that guy get hurt first play of the game? Everyone's acting like he's the safest option in the world, and I'm sitting here crapping myself. Not because I had a McDonald's breakfast sandwich this morning. It's because I have Hollywood in my lineup, and I worry about something flaring up right off the jump. Adams and Tet for me. William G, starting Buka or Henderson at flex. I'm going with Buka. There might come a time where Henderson is threatening that role, your flex spot, once Godwin's back, once Henderson's really taken over the backfield. But for me, I got to go with Buka. Should I start Drag Me or I think Gabe has Drake May versus Rodgers and has not spelled Drake May right a single time, Gabe. Drag me, baby. I'm going Drake May, the drag. Drake May all day, Gabe, for sure. Jonathan Moore. Henderson versus Miami or Hollywood Brown. I'd go Henderson there. As somebody starting it, I would go there. Hey, Alexander, thank you so much for reposting the stream. I love that it notifies us. We got 1,600 of you out there. Only one repost so far. Come on. A heart, a like, a repost, all that good stuff really does help us grow. And especially what would really help us out if you're on Twitter, come on over to YouTube, hit that sub button, help those numbers continue to climb, support your boy, helps us get a little more ad money, all that good stuff. So thank you so much. Sylvester White, Harold Fannin, or Kyle Pitts. I would go with, I'm going Fannin. And I like Kyle Pitts. I do. He looked good. Pitts did look good. And I like that game. I've talked about how I like that game. I would definitely go Pitts over Engram. I'll tell you that. Where do I have Pitts in my rankings this week? I have him at 9. I do have him above Fannin, huh? I like that game, and I like how Pitts looked. Rogers, Drake May started. Gabe, I don't even think you're meaning to spam it, but you have just asked the same question in 15 different ways, brother. And again, I'm going to say for the 18th time, Gabe, Drake May, whatever variation of spelling that you go with. Joe Felon, PPR, Pitts or Fannin, another Pitts or Fannin. I'm going Pitts. A lot of Fannin questions today, and it seems like I'm going the other way on those ones quite a bit. And I had Fannin at tight end 12, so I really do like Fannin. Just seems like you guys are rightfully comparing him to some great options. And if he does what he did last week yet again, it kind of becomes that Puka where it's like undeniable. This guy's in your lineup every week, getting 10 targets, leading the team, catches, yards, all that good stuff. That happens again, of course. You don't even ask about Fannin moving forward. But it's like David Njoku's still there, and David Njoku is a very good player. That's why I was so impressed that Fannin did what he did. But it could have been, we saw it with Likely last year. It could just be that 1 week it worked out, the matchup was right, and that's what they identified as this is our advantage. I had him as my DraftKings tight end in all my lineups last week. Unfortunately, had dog mess all around him, but I was ahead on Fannin. I like Fannin a lot. Galaxy pickers, all right. Start Dunze, K9, or Boutte. I'm going to go with Dunze there. Looks like the clear number 1. I like that game. I think it's got some point potential. Love Boutte too. I'm intrigued to see what K9 finally does, but I think Dunze is the bet there. DJ Johnson, happy Sunday to you, sir. One of the you're probably the only person tuned in on Facebook over there, a lone warrior, still hanging on to the Facebook stream. We just put it up there because, hey, we still have people on there, and I guess that's why. Great to see you, DJ. Happy Sunday to you. And congrats as well. I believe Amanda and Sam had their kiddo, right? Congrats there. Uncle Life. Happy Sunday. PPR. Let's pick one. Kenneth Walker or Javonte. I got to go Javonte. Safe bet for the score. Facing the Giants especially. I don't love the player, but he looked a little bit juicier, had a little bit more burst than we saw. And it makes sense. The guy's coming off a terrible knee injury. 2 years is a long time, but he does look better now. And even if he's not looking great, he's got the goal line back for an offense that I think is going to move the ball at will. So I think you got another 2 touchdown upside with Javonte. Certainly at least there. Been on the Thornton Jr. bandwagon, but I drop him for Boutte, rocking everywhere. Says Luis Perez. Yes, rock the Boutte, baby. I would rather have Boutte on my team. And I'm on the Thornton Jr. bandwagon too. I thought he looked good despite the counting stats not quite being there this last week. That being said, I still have Boutte well above him at this point. So yes, I would rock the Boutte everywhere, baby. Sads 9M, full point PPR, 4 point per passing touchdown. Drake or Caleb and Hawk or Jauan. I'm going to, again, give Hawk one more chance. I do love Jauan. I love the volume. I love the route share. He could really, everybody focus on Fannin. I can see Jauan being that true tight end winner of the year, but I'm still going to give Hawk another chance tonight in the Dome, shootout style game. I like that one. I think it's going to be a fun one. So I'm going to go with Hawkinson, and then I'm going to go Drake May over Caleb. Both underwhelmed in week 1. Give me the one facing Miami that got steamrolled by Daniel Jones, right? Pick 2 for Joe Felon, Pearsall, Buka, Myers. I'm going to bench Myers there. A lot of good options there, Joe, but I'm benching Myers. DJ, start 2, full PPR. DK, Etienne, Tracy. I'd be benching Tracy there. He did not look good. Had that fumbling issue arise. Scatterboo could get more involved. Yeah, I like going Etienne, DK. Drake May or Aaron Rodgers for Gabe. I've answered that one too many times. Please, Gabe, stop asking that. Full PPR, DJ Moore or Ricky Pearsall. I would go Ricky P. I believe Mac Jones is not going to be a significant downgrade, and Ricky P with no George Kittle there. I mean, it's just Jauan Jennings is also banged up. I think Ricky Pearsall, Christian McCaffrey, it's just going to flow right through all of them. Olave dropped in my 10-team league, worth a number one priority. Yeah, I do think so. It depends, again, who else is out there. But, yeah, like Olave should never be on the waiver wire. He had 13 targets in week 1. Who's dropping Olave? Yeah, it's worth the number one pickup, even when you don't, like, clearly you don't need him because you got good receiver options. Depth always helps Williams. So, yes. Nana Boo Boo, what's going on? Thanks for the tip on Jordan Love. Let's go. 200 yards in the first half. If the Commanders pushed him at all, like I expected, he might have gone for 400. But, we'll take a nice 20-plus point night for sure from Jordan Love. For my PPR flex, Travis Hunter, J-Mo, or Cedric Tillman. I'm going to go with J-Mo slightly over Travis Hunter in that one. I mean, Tillman also probably the safest of the three. I just like J-Mo to erupt at home today. I think Goff and them, they have a coming out party. We get the lines we expected. Maybe I'm just the delusional Jahmyr Gibbs owner over here having a little bit of copium and trying to please, for the love of God, Jared Goff. They're really going to come back, right? He's just so good at home and bad on the road, which is true. I hope. It was true last year. Please, for the love of God, I need this Lions team to get better. I think J-Mo's going to be a part of that. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a part of that. We get some explosives today. Nana Boo Boo. Let's go. DM Bree Rob. Pick 2, half PPR. Swift, J-Mo, Hollywood, or J.K. Dobbins. I would go with Dobbins and Swift. Yeah. I mean, I'm so tempted to say J-Mo. I just said, I think I hear ups at home, but hard to turn down 15 to 20 touchbacks. I know that was a similar one where we had I think it was E.T. and Pollard or J-Mo. And as much as I like J-Mo, Dobbins and Swift, I mean, gun to my head, if I was really making this choice, I think I'd go Swift J-Mo. But it's tough to bench Dobbins after that 16 touch a day. Mr. Fella cutting the line with a super chat. Thank you so much. The 8th of the day. Greatly appreciate you guys supporting your guy here. Flowers or Shakir, full PPR. I got to go Flowers on that one. Both those guys looked good in week 1, but Flowers really looked good. And everybody, the game flow was perfect for the guy. They threw it 19 times. And I understand that against the Browns, they might throw it even less, but only on 19 throws. The man had 9 catches, was so involved, wide open all over the field, getting handoffs. He looks like his role might be evolving. It's not the craziest thing in the world to expect a guy that showed great efficiency in his first 2 years, really jumped out off the screen, to then take another year 3 leap like that. It used to be the year 3 wide receivers is when we'd expect breakouts. I've been doing fantasy long enough that it was all right, here's the list of third-year receivers. Now it's all about rookies and sophomores, and understandably so. They're translating faster. I mean, Flowers was very good from the jump. He could take that leap into. It looked like he had taken that leap into superstardom last week. Even on, again, a good game flow in the sense that it was a back and forth game. They were up all game and they only threw it 19 times, and Flowers still erupted. I like Flowers. I really do. I think he has taken that next step. He was a target hog at BC. He can run all the routes. Yeah, Shakir's safe and certainly full PPR. He got a nice floor there, but I love Flowers. I think he is the next big thing, fella. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. Thank you so much again for the super chat for sure. But yeah, light him up, baby. Let's go with Flowers. All right, and we had left off. I got to start recording the time there. We're Nana Boo Boo. We're at DM Rob. So now we're at CJ. AJ Brown, Calvin Ridley. I got to go AJ Brown. No Goddard. Condenses the target tree even more. Maybe the Chiefs push him and they do have to throw it more often. I think either way, it's squeaky wheel time. I think AJ Brown gets greased up. This team gave up the most points to wide receivers in week 1. The Chiefs, Quentin Johnson bombing them deep. If Johnson can bomb them, I think AJ Brown sure can too. R like a pirate cannabis. AR. No, R cannabis. What's going on? Morning Wolf. Pick 2. Harrison Jr., Olave, or Shakir. I definitely play Harrison Jr., and I know I'm not the biggest Marv guy, but he looked good in week 1. You had the Panthers, a soft defense. Great spot to keep firing him up. Olave versus Shakir is tougher. I think Shakir is safer, but I do think also Olave is going to be chasing points all day long. So gun to my head, I'd probably go Shakir for the safety. I don't know. Olave had 13 targets, and San Fran's not a crazy secondary. I mean, we saw what JSN just did to them, carving them up. And I know Olave is a step below JSN, but that's a small step. They were teammates, and Olave was the man there. I'm going to go Olave over Shakir. I think he has a solid day here. And then we did get another super chat. Thank you so much, Fusion V. Morning, full PPR, Quentin Johnson or Rome Odunze. I'm going Odunze. I love QJ blowing up, but we've seen this act before. Better best ball player, because as soon as you trust him, you don't see him. Maybe he's evolved. Maybe the role is going to be steady. But I have an option like Odunze, where it was his 8 targets, I feel like will probably be an every week thing. Quentin Johnson, I think you're going to have 8 target weeks, and then you're going to have like 1 target. And it's just a little bit more of a roller coaster, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but Odunze, all the talk was he's the clear number 1 in camp. Showed that in week 1. And I like that game. I think that's a fun game today. Ben Johnson facing his old team here. I think they're going to put some points up. So I'm going to go with Odunze there, Fusion V. Thank you so much. So last week it was going Ibuka all the time. Surprisingly going Odunze quite a lot today. So maybe he's the guy of the day. We'll find out. I didn't expect him to be the guy of the day, but I keep answering it, and I keep going here. All righty. Good morning. Michael saying, my QB starter, Daniels, he must have asked a question and added some context because Daniels did not do much for you, so you probably need to blow up, but I don't see where your other question is. I'll be on the lookout, Michael Regine. Glenn N., good morning. Lost Purdy. Would you start Lawrence or Penix? I have London. I'd stack them up, baby. I would rather have Penix anyways, but especially if you're starting Drake London, stack those boys up, Glenn. Let it rip in the dome tonight. Pearsall or Jordan Mason for AP? Give me Pearsall all day in that one, especially in a full PPR. You got him, you got CMC, you got maybe Jauan Jennings and no one else. And Matt Jones can sling that thing. So, yeah, I'm going Pearsall. Let's go. Watering up, baby. Big day today. DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, or Pickens. I'm going Etienne in this case. Love a Pickens eruption today. I do, but I still have to go those 20-ish carries. Etienne, good matchup here against Cincinnati. We saw Dylan Sampson rack up nearly 10 catches against them. I like Etienne quite a lot. Now Tate Bigsby's gone too. He looked great. What was 160-something rush yards in week 1? That was one that's like an immediate one thing I was wrong about this year. Etienne for sure. Like I trust that he looks – I wanted a piece of this backfield. Did not go enough on Etienne. I was often getting Tootin and sometimes Bigsby. Very rarely did I go Etienne, the most expensive of the 3. He was the most expensive for a good reason, and he still was not more 100 or so. I wish I had more Etienne, is my confession here today. 16, the franchise. Pick 2, Pollard, Pickens, Henderson, Allen, Igbuka. I'm definitely going Igbuka, and I think I'm going Pollard for the other one. Just sure bet on volume. Pollard versus Henderson is tricky because I really do think Henderson's role gets a nice bump up today. But it's not a guarantee. The comments lead that way, but I do think I'm bumping Pollard just a spot above him. I have Trevion at 20, Pollard 21. I'm going to bump Pollard a spot up here. I got to bump 18 up just a little bit too to running back 18. All right. So very slightly going there. Looks like we got a couple more super chats. So let's dive on to those. Mass Football Guy, good to see you. Morning, man. Big dad bod here. What's up, dad bod? Let's go. You and me both. And now at least I have the dad justification. I've always had the dad bod. Just wasn't a dad. But now that I have a baby, dad bod even more justified. Trying to hit that Peloton. Mixed results so far. I definitely had the dad 15 or what, freshman 15, freshman 30. Yeah, the dad bod's rocking over here, Mass Football Guy. I think, were you from Tewksbury? I can't remember. Remind me where you're from, brother, but great to see you. Let's go. K9 or Charbonnet. So which Seattle back do we like more? I'll tell you, I thought Charbonnet looked way better. And I think, at least we know he's going to be fine. He's going to be okay. Walker didn't look great at all. It looked like he was not hitting he's getting stuffed in the backfield, doing too much. Whereas Charbonnet was the one hitting the hole. Remember those coaching comments throughout camp? He's strong as an ox. His availability is key. He's so smart. All they did all summer was tug and love on Charbonnet. Well, they complained that K9 wasn't active and healthy and he was getting behind in the scheme. And that's exactly what it looked like. So for right now, as explosive as K9 is, and eventually he probably takes his backfield back over, I like Charbonnet. I think I have them within the same exact, back to back in my rankings, and I have Charbonnet one spot higher over Kenneth Walker because we just know like he's probably going to get his 15 carries and he's probably going to get 50 yards and a touchdown at minimum. Whereas Walker, he's going to get his 15 carries, and we don't know what he's going to do yet. Eventually, once we start seeing him click, we'll probably be pivoting to him eventually. For right now, though, Charbonnet, he's looking like the lead backer at minimum, the one that you can at least trust there. That's how I feel about it, at least. Levi C, help with your defense here. Eagles, Texans, Cowboys. You got to go Cowboys, baby. Facing the Giants, I think they're one of the best streams. I had them way too low. I checked my rankings today. I think I was expecting Jackson Dart to start early in the week, and then once it was announced that Russell was starting, I should have had the bump up. They went up from my 12th defense to my 5th defense, and I still think they might not even be high enough. I'd probably take them. San Fran, they're on the road. Cowboys my 4th ranked defense now. I love the Cowboys this week. And then you got Texans facing Bucks, great offense. Eagles facing Mahomes. Actually, I won't say great offense, but certainly. Give me the one facing the Giants. Our cannabis leaning Olave 2 for the targets. Cheers. Yeah, fire it up, baby. I got to find where our cannabis is located. So maybe we can work out a little sponsorship, a little deal. You ship me some of your best product, and I'll shout out your dispensary all the time. If you're even a dispensary, or maybe you just love cannabis. Enthusiast here, too. Great way to spend your Sunday, right? Nothing better. Thank you so much. Let's go for those targets, baby. 13 targets week 1, chasing them again against a San Fran team that struggled with a similar style receiver in JSN. Yeah, let's do it. Like it. And I think so you lost Purdy. I remember that one. I remember this one. And so we were at D Swift, Etienne, or Pickens. And I remember we had gone there with Etienne. And so now we're at this one. Okay, here we are. Half PPR for the franchise. Yeah, we picked Egbuka and Pollard. Full PPR, Swift or Ricky P. I'm going Ricky P. Pearsall's the man of the day. So I was saying Dunze. Last week was Egbuka where I felt really good and I kept answering it. Pearsall's that one for me today. A lot of people asking about Pearsall. I'm guessing because of Mac Jones. I fully believe that he is capable. Again, Brian Thomas had his best games with Mac Jones at quarterback. I think your Shanahan system, you could put, I was going to say me behind there and I'd throw for 300 yards. I can't throw a football, so probably not. But you could put anybody mildly competent. Nicky Tanzella, quarterback of the Beverly Panthers 07, baby. He could go back there and throw for 300 yards. And a lot of them would go to Ricky P. I like the system. I think Mac Jones is more than capable of keeping him afloat. Our cannabis, how much gas do you think Mark Andrews' tank? I mean, fat and useless were the 2 adjectives I used to describe him on Thursday. I mean, he looked, but remember last year he started slow and they ended up picking it up. I'll tell you this, our cannabis, if he sucks this week against Cleveland, who he typically dominates, I'm cutting him. I have Jauan Johnson. I think I might start Jauan over him. I don't know. I keep going back and forth because I already have Olave in my lineup. It's like, do you really want 2 Spencer Rattler weapons in your lineup? Well, if that's where 70% of the targets go, maybe. Yeah, he looked bad. He looked really bad. I'm worried. Why am I starting him? I have Lamar, so I don't know. I'm Jauan. Andrew sucks. If he sucks today, it'll be a very fun hate cut. Like, that's the one silver lining, is it will feel very, very good to cut Mark Andrews on Monday if he sucks again. Good morning. Do I roll with Fannin or pick up Strange? I like Fannin there, baby. I'd have to drop one of my stash. No, I mean, I don't think you have to hold Marks. Not a big fan there. I like holding Blue a lot. I'd pick up I'd keep Fannin going, though. Goff or McCarthy for Mojo Risen. Goff at home is always better. But is Goff any good without Ben Johnson, they're asking? And they're fair to ask it. I like JJ in that dome tonight, Mojo. I think I do. That's going to be a fun game. I'm going JJ. Little leg points, too. Impressed by the way he was running. I like it. Joe Jam 503. Rams or Cards? I go Rams for sure. Like that matchup with the Titans. Sylvester White, hello. Harold Fannin or Kyle Pitts? I'm going Kyle Pitts. Fannin's a guy I don't mind starting by any means, but if I have a good option like Kyle Pitts, that's one I am okay waiting and seeing Because I think people are writing Njoku off a little fast, and maybe not. I buy Fannin as a player. We use him in the guide as one of my favorite tight end sleepers. I love Fannin. I think it is congested there, and if he leads the team again in targets, then it's like, okay, we don't ask questions. Fannin's a locked in guy, but Kyle Pitts is a great reason to wait in a good matchup tonight too. Happy Sunday to you, Steve Weber. Osarius, Jalen Waddle against the Patriots, or Michael Pittman being. I mean, that's tough because I think Surtain is a real, him shadowing is a real worry. I think I loved what I saw from Pittman last week, though. It's just such a tough matchup. I think I go Waddle because the Patriots gave up the most big plays in terms of the receivers last week, and I do worry about Surtain. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Waddle there. Should I pick up Penix? If so, what QB? Yeah, I'd rather have Penix over either of these guys. I drop Stroud, I guess, but it doesn't matter to me, TKG. Drop whichever one you like least. I like Stroud a little less than Trevor Lawrence. I don't like either of them. Drop both of them, pick up Penix, and get somebody else. Get Stash Blue, you know what I mean? AJ Lee, PPR, Andrews or Jauan Johnson. That's my exact dilemma, AJ Lee. And I'll tell you, just talking about Andrews today has made me sick every time his name comes up. Like, legitimately, my stomach churns every time I say him. Screw him. Go Jauan Johnson. I'm going to go Jauan too. The porn stash, Jauan Johnson, baby. Does it get any better than that? Penix or Daniel Jones? I'm going to go because of the matchup against defense, I'm going to go with Penix. I just I like it. I like it a lot. Drake May or Dak. I go with Drake May, as we've talked about. I did want to. I quickly realized I forgot to do my touchdown scores of the day, which is what I'm trying to do. Sunday stream. Hold on, let me find. There it is. So it's not Thursday Night Football. Here we go. Let me just quickly share my screen, folks, and we'll get right back to the questions. I just want to show you guys my touchdown scores of the day that I like. And I'm going to just add underneath here, I like even more than pretty much any of these, if it is actually still plus 290 Tyler Warren, I think is a phenomenal bet as well. So these are my favorite scored bets of the day. Drake May plus 425 against a defense that gave up 2 rushing scores to Daniel Jones last week. I like Drake May plus 3,500 to score twice as well, but at least once plus 425. I like Garrett Wilson against a Bills defense that gave up, I believe, the second or third most points to wide receivers last week. Sure, they were facing Zay Flowers, Lamar, but they only got 19 pass attempts. I think Fields playing catch up. Garrett Wilson's a good bet to catch at least one plus 210. Quinshon Judkins making his debut plus 500. There's going to come a time where this guy's plus 150 to score, maybe even less, because he's just a bulldozer at the goal line, and I think they're not going to waste any time getting him going today. Ricky Pearsall plus 220. I think it's the main engine. I've talked about how I'm not worried about Mac Jones at all. I think those are great odds. Cam Scattergood plus 350. He was the goal line back last week. Got stuffed on a carry, but this is a guy that in college was an elite touchdown scorer. And Tracy did not look good. So if they turn the keys over as early as this week to Scatterbo, wouldn't surprise me. And then plus 290 for Tyler Warren. I tossed there at the end. Love that bet. I think 290 is way too low for his odds to score. I wonder what you'd get if you parlayed all 6 of these together and they hit. You'd have to be looking at like 10K for $10 type of thing, maybe even better. So those are my favorite ones. Big fan of all of them. All right, back to your questions. The touchdown scores trail me. Let's see how those ones hit for the day for sure. So we were at AJ Lee, we went Penix, and now we went Drake May over Dak, and we're back to Ethan Pugh. Does Debo look like the number one? That was one of the takeaways Ethan Pugh was. Yeah, he does. Now, I still get that Terry McLaurin, he's working his way back from camp. And so, there's definitely some rust to shake off, some chemistry to rebuild. But as of right now, absolutely. And Debo is just such a great fit for what Cliff Kingsbury likes to do, the yak stuff, the screens, all that stuff. So, yes. Fellow with a second super chat. Very generous of you, Anthony. Thank you so much. Kelsey, Njoku, Jauan Johnson, full PPR. I got to go Jauan, full PPR. especially a half-point tight end premium too, because you're chasing the routes, you're chasing the targets in that case. So you get 1.5 for every catch. Go with the porn stash. Go with Jauan Johnson. I like Kelsey. You know, in theory, he should be maybe the number one option for Mahomes, but he's just washed at this point. So I'm going to go Jauan Johnson and chase the targets and catches from last week. It's always been a very high volume role for Kellen Moore's offense, dating back to, you know, Ferguson's breaking out, Schultz breaking out. Those guys were playing under Kellen Moore. And so, yeah, I really, really like both Jauan Johnson in this role. Again, 97% of the routes, very condensed without Taysom Hill there. And then Mason, Jones, or Charb, pick one full PPR. I think I go Aaron Jones in a full PPR. My gut keeps saying, like, say Charb, but it could be the Walker breakout, and suddenly Charb isn't all that used. So of the committee guys in a full PPR, I'll go with the best pass catching upside, and I think that's Aaron Jones, and I like that game tonight, as I keep emphasizing. So I'm going to go with Aaron Jones in a full PPR setting there. Thank you so much, Anthony Fella. We're at 1950. Love to break 2K for 2 weeks in a row. That'd be awesome to have 2,000 live viewers in back-to-back weeks. Please do consider hitting that thumbs up button, the like, the share, the retweet to help us get there. And of course, if you're one of those 2,000 live viewing right now, please do consider hitting that subscribe button and joining us on YouTube as we climb towards 5K. Can we get there in a couple of weeks? I don't know. We'll find out. These rankings, too, that I keep referencing, they're live. They're free at rotostreetjournal.com. I have not pushed through the update that I like to do during the show as I weigh these things. But rotostreetjournal.com, where you can find all of our content. Check it all out. And I, of course, am at Roto Street Wolf. Back to the questions. Let's go, folks. We'll be hitting a rapid fire in about 10 minutes or less to try to make it through the entire mailbag. Let's do it, folks. Trevor Watts. I'll light that up in about 7 minutes of rapid fire. Trevor Watts, Sutton or Drake London? I got to go Drake London. Most points allowed to wide receivers last year were the Minnesota Vikings. Shootout game and the turf. I like it tonight. And I love Sutton. Don't get me wrong, but Drake London. I mean, averaging 13 targets per game with Penix's QB, I believe, something like that. Crazy. Mordenheim, 1. Tillman, Boutte, or Waddle? Boutte, baby. Shake that booty. Get it going. I love Kayshon Boutte, though. Great matchup. Miami sucks. I think that team's a doormat, and Boutte's going to take a dump all over him. We have Mike. Oh, we think we have one more super chat. There we go. Matt's football. I'm going Meyer over Chig, half PPR tight end premium. I think it's a great move if Bowers is ruled out, but it sounds like Mass Football Guy. And again, remind me, I think it's Tewksbury, but remind me, or it might be like Lincoln Sunday. I forget. Remind me where you're from, Mass Football Guy. I love the move if Bowers is sitting. You won't know until 10 o'clock on Monday because it's those Monday night doubleheaders. And it sounds like Bowers is trending towards being in which case I'd go for Chig. So yeah, I'm going Chig over Meyer just because it does seem like Bowers is in. But ultimately, not a guarantee. And if you told me Bowers suddenly was going to be out, then yes, I would definitely have Meyer over him. But I don't think Meyer's worth waiting it out right now. I'd rather just go Chig, is my opinion there. Michael DeGangi, full PPR, Engram, Pitts, or Calvin Austin as flex 2. I'm going to bench Calvin Austin. I know he scored last week, but what Steelers offense are we going to get each and every week when they're finally up? I don't know. I don't fully buy Calvin Austin. I think Pitts is my favorite here, and I trust Engram and the Broncos more than I trust the Steelers doing what they did last week. I think the Broncos rebound. Start 4, 8-man, full PPR league. Need 4 receivers. Hollywood, Pearsall, Jamo, Allen, Boutte, Tillman. Thank you so much. Fields over Mahomes is crazy to me, but I go Fields over Mahomes. I'm with you there. And in terms of these wide receivers, I would go with Pearsall, I'd go with Jamo, I'd go with Hollywood, and I go Allen versus Boutte's tough. I'm going to go Boutte. Shake the booty. Let's go, Robert. TKG. Should I pick up Daniel Jones or Penix? I'd go Penix, TKG. Or I'd go Fields. Fields is out there with TKG. What are we doing? The guy had 30 points last week. Looked great. I'd rather have – why don't you pick up Fields and Penix and drop both CJ and T-Law? You have like my least favorite of the – you have both. I'd say CJ and T-Law are at the bottom of my rest of season quarterback rankings compared to those other 3. I don't have any of those other 3 over those 2. I think Fields and Penix would be the 2 options I would go with for sure. Michael Regine. My QB Daniels, I have C. Williams. Should I drop Williams? Little depth, my bench, Ollie, Engram, Diggs, Algier, Pacheco, D. Thornton, starters. Yeah, you can drop Williams, but I mean, do you have to? Like, who are you trying to pick up? Who's out there? You could also cut Thornton. You could cut Ollie. I don't think you need Williams when you have Daniels, but he also seems like a more valuable player than what you have, and it depends on like who you're picking up as well, Michael. But you don't need to keep Caleb Williams, especially if you think he's a bad fantasy locker room presence, which he could be. He's a little sassy, a little whiny, painting the nails in the locker room. I don't need that in my fantasy locker room. So yeah, cut him, but make sure it's worth something too. Robert Christensen, 3 QBs, IDP League. Yeah, I think he asked that one already. AJ Lee, non-superflex, non-tight end premium, start 8-6 bench. I have Jauan and Mark Andrews and Dak and Fields. Should I drop at least one or both of these onesies? I'll tell you, Mark Andrews could be on the chopping block. I want to see what he does against Cleveland today. I'd keep both Dak and Fields for now, though. I do think Andrews could be cut. It also depends, of course, who's out there. But, yeah, I think you can trim that down. I would, if I have Fields, I'd like to keep Dak, though. It's a big risk. And we are over 2,000 viewers live with us at this point. Love to see it. Back-to-back weeks over 2K. Thank you so much for making me a part of your Sunday morning routine. We're going to hit a rapid fire momentarily, but thank you so much. With over 2,000 here, do consider that thumbs up button on YouTube, the heart button on Twitter. If some of you are still on Facebook, I know there's a few of you out there still. Please consider that as well. And hitting that subscribe button, especially on YouTube, would mean the world. GTA Rug, Hill or Egbuka? I got to go Egbuka there. Way safer, similar blow-up upside. Give me Egbuka. Young, not throwing temper tantrums on the sideline. Yeah, I'll take that all day. Jets Machine, PPR, start one of Fannin, Harvey, or Palmer. I like Fannin there. I do. Harvey looks amazing, but I don't trust Sean Payton at this point. At some point, Harvey will be the clear lead back. He's going to be a clear league winner. I fully buy into that. I don't think it's this early in the season quite yet. And Palmer, if the game script's not there, he probably isn't seeing that volume yet again. And I think Fannin, they're going to definitely be chasing points today. Andres, what up? Happy New Year to you too. Pick 3, half PPR. Walker, Sampson, Egbuka, McMillan. Clearly Egbuka, McMillan, definitely in there. And then I would go Ken Walker over Sampson with Judkins now. It might have been trickier. Should Judkins have sat? At this point, I would be going Ken Walker, though, and just hope for the best. We got Trent, 7211, Pickens, half PPR, or Tyler Warren, full PPR, tight end premium. I'll go with the full tight end premium, especially because we already have that report that they're going to make Tyler Warren the focal point of the passing game today with Surtain on Pittman. Great corners all around. Does feel like a nice Tyler Warren chance. Pickens, again, I really like today. I think this, PFF highlighted him as a top 3 wide receiver cornerback matchup. This could be that eruption spot. Still a bit riskier, though, and I do think Warren sees at least 7 or 8 targets yet again. So I'm going to keep firing him up. I like that one. Or Trey Tucker. Jets Machine, no, not over Fannin. Evan Ingram or Fergie? Carlito. I'm going to go Fergie. I'm going to go Fergie for that one. He's a halftime player for Ingram. No thanks. Derek Just. Hey, good to see you, Derek. Pick 3. Michael Pittman, Jacoby Myers, Hollywood Brown, D. Smith while starting Reed. Yeah, I had Reed in the lineup. Brutal collarbone injury. What can you do? So you need some upside, though, right? I'm going to bench Michael Pittman of these just because against Surtain, he could have an okay day. I don't see anybody having like monster days against him, whereas any of these other 3, Myers, Hollywood Brown, or D. Smith, any one of those 3 could erupt. And in fact, they might all do it. Tried putting in the main. I'm from Sudbury. Oh, that's what it was, Sudbury. I think it's in the main at some point, Mass Football Guy. Thank you to the 3rd super chat and to let me know where you're from. That's right. It was Sudbury. I knew it was somewhere out in that area. There you go. Do you coach at Sudbury, Mass Football Guy? I teach at North Andover, and they face Lincoln Sudbury in the playoffs just a few years ago where they had Jake McElroy, I believe. I don't know. I don't remember if you coach Mass Football Guy. You don't have to super chat me that. Put it in the chat. Find me on Twitter. Unless, again, you're welcome to do whatever you want. You've already been so generous, though. You don't need to keep super chat. Thank you so much for sure. I have Daniels and Caleb Williams. Do I drop? So now we already answered that one for you, Michael. But yes, you probably could. Thank you for answering our questions. The Hollywood French Bowl is absolutely what I'm here for on these Sunday mornings. I love it. Time is definitely tighter these days with the new kiddo. But man, I love these Sunday mornings with you guys. And a free way to help me out is that thumbs up button if you enjoy it. Juke Collier, Hunter Henry or Brock Bowers. I know Bowers practice. It sounds like he is expected to play, so I would go Brock. I would just make sure Juke. Some leagues allow you to churn your bench players even after they've played, in terms of you can cut somebody. If you can't, you should probably pick up Mayer right now just to be safe. If you're allowed to cut people, though, then you can wait and make sure Bowers in. If he's not in, you pick up Mayer, and I think you're getting a comparable guy to Hunter Henry anyways. I like Hunter Henry today, I do, but you don't bench Brock Bowers when he is probably going to play ever. So, yeah, I go Brock Bowers there for sure. Rome, Williams, Pickens, wide receiver 2. Pick 1. I like Rome the most. DJ Johnson, good to see you. Hey, fatherhood is awesome. I'm loving it so far. Josie's amazing. Full PPR, Pacheco, Mason, Sampson, or Judkins. Ugh. Is there not? So it's probably a running back spot. I got to go Mason there. Go for the touchdown. I think he's the best bet there. I am intrigued to see what Judkins does. I love his plus 500 odds to score a touchdown, but I don't really want him in my lineup. It's a pretty big risk today. But I'm going to go Mason there. FF Sheep, and you're welcome, QGB. Thank you again for the super chat. FF Sheep, start 2 PPR. Njoku, Jauan, Hunter Henry, Fannin, or Wandale. I am going to go... Oh, man, I like all these options. I'm going to go Henry and Jauan. I know Wandale is a nice PPR option, but I like the tight ends. I think both those guys are target hogs, and then that way you kind of give yourself some time to figure out the Brown situation a little bit more. Alrighty, guys, I am going to set a 13-minute timer to get us up until 10 o'clock. That starts now. Rapid fire time. Let me pause it so I can just give one last plug for rotostreetjournal.com, where you'll find my rankings updated live after this show. They will be up there, so check them out there. And thank you again so much. One last call for that thumbs up button. All the super chats today, over 17 of you. Thank you so much for your generosity. So greatly appreciated it. Now let's fire up a rapid fire. But again, one last call for that thumbs up button. And of course, subscriptions would help us continue to grow the channel. Means so much. RoastRejoe.com. You can find all the rankings. Let us rapid fire through it. Sicilian Kyle, half PPR, DJ Moore or Booty. I'm going DJ Moore. Very close. So I do love Booty. Steve Piz. Is this Pizzametti? That Steve Piz over there? If so, say what's up. Shoot me a DM, Steve. I have to talk to you in a minute. Good to hear from you if it is. But either way, Steve Piz. PPR, Bowers versus Jauan at tight end. Olave versus Tillman at flex. I'm going Olave and I'm going Bowers, Steve Piz. Making sure I have that backup of Myers. If I can wait till Monday to pick him up, great. If not, get him now. Are you starting Warren? Are you starting Juwan Johnson or Tyler Warren? I'm starting Tyler Warren, BD, myself. Superflex question. Who should I start? Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, or Keenan Allen? I'd be starting Daniel Jones. I know it's a tough matchup against the Broncos, but he could run in another score or two. Like it. Joe Fellon, PPR, pick 1. Dobbins, Walker, Charbonnet. I'm going Dobbins there, Joe Fellon. Non-PPR, Swift or Henderson. I'm going Henderson. Go for the big plays and the touchdowns there. Start Fannin, Pitts, or Strange. I am going with Pitts for that one, Chris Heller. John Curtis, full PPR. Pick 2 between Keon Hollywood, T-Mac, or Flowers. QB's Mahomes. Thank you. I'm going to go with Flowers and T-Mac for that one, John Curtis. Lisa McQueen, half PPR. Pick 2, Moore, J-Mo, Hollywood. I would go with Moore and J-Mo myself, Lisa. I'm from Sudbury. No kid yet, but I did the same thing. Good stuff. Smith, Sutton, Pearsall. One has to sit. I'd sit Smith there, Clark's Collectibles. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you too, football guy. Thank you again for all those super chats earlier. Ron Smith, pick 1 QB to start. Lawrence or Nix? Thank you. Definitely Nix for me. I do not like Trevor Lawrence. PPR, Ricky Pearsall or Tet McMillan? I'm going Ricky P, baby. Let's do it. 2 good options there. BD, PPR. Atlanta, Hawkinson versus Atlanta or Hunter Henry? I'm going Hawkinson, but very, very close there. Cross prop promos. Caleb Williams or Daniel Dimes? I'm going Caleb Williams there, given that Broncos matchup for the Dimes. Brent Langford, 2 of 3, Booty, Johnson, or Adunze. I am going to go with Adunze and Booty for that one, Brent. BD, Mac Jones or CJ Stroud? I mean, my knee-jerk reaction was Mac Jones. I'd probably go Stroud, though, if I had that one staring at me in the face. Jose Avales. Got someone wanting to trade S. Barkley for D. Henry and Keenan Allen. Should I do it? I have Barkley. Especially if you need a wide receiver, then yes, I think Henry and Barkley very comparable, and Keenan Allen not just a throw-in. I think he's good. I would go Javonte or J-Mo Williams over those two, yes. And then I would go Jawan Johnson over Njoku. PPR, Etienne, Hubbard, Hampton, pick 2. I would go with Hampton and Etienne, I believe. I mean, I like all 3 of those. But yeah, I think I'm benching Hubbard there. Great options, though, Alejandro. Really good. Sports Guru, Flex. I don't know. I think Etienne and Hubbard are just safer. Maybe that gives you a week to see Hampton really get his legs under him. I think the rookie's going to very much impress, though. I'm going to go Hubbard and Etienne, though. Nice and safe. Very good options, Alejandro. Sports Guru, Flex, Pacheco, Tracy, or Diggs. I'm going to go Diggs and PPR. Don't really like any of those 3, but I like Diggs the most because I really don't like Pacheco or Tracy at all. JDH, Pearsall, Jamo, or Javante. I don't know if it's – I'm guessing it's Coleman. Good start advice last week. Let's go. I would go with Pearsall of these 3. Fannin or Engram for Sports Guru. I am going Fannin over Engram for sure today. Trent 7211 Flex Help Pickens or Tyler Warren. I am going to go with Tyler Warren given the tight end premium setting. Trent. 2 Flex League, half PPR. I have Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, Ridley, DJ Moore. I'm going to go with Javonte for the flex there, Stavros. Sicilian Kyle, DJ Moore or Boutte. I am going to go with DJ Moore there, Sicilian. Liked. Thank you, Stavros. And maybe consider doing that. Subscribe and coming back for more. I see a lot of new names. 2,100 of you here. Every one of you, please consider hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you every Sunday morning, Thursday pregame. Sorry, bro, but you were breaking up when you were talking about Penix and Daniel Jones. I'm going Penix because that Broncos matchup really worries me, Hollywood French Bulls. Sudbury, that's right. DJ Moore or Boutte, half PPR. I'm going to go with DJ Moore. Please stop spamming Sicilian Kyle. You're being tossed in timeout. Fannin or Jauan. I'm going Jauan very slightly. Hollywood, he said to stack Penix and with London. Yes. He's out talking to the French Bulldogs. Fannin or Njoku. I go Fannin over Njoku at this point. Start Boutte or Aaron Jones. I like Boutte over Aaron Jones. Call me crazy, but I like it. Stephen Kreese, PPR. Prescott, Penix, Lawrence, or Stafford. I like Prescott there. Ingram, Pitts, or Fannin. I'm going Pitts. And Waddle, Walker, or Boutte. I am going Boutte. Yeah, there it is. You got in there a few times. We were just about like 20 minutes behind when I asked you, Mass Football Guy. But confirmed, you're from Sudbury. I'd start Jauan. Awesome. People are helping each other out. Got it. And then Hollywood French Bulls, people are helping him out too. Standard scoring, pick 1, Bo Nix or Caleb Williams. I'm going to go with Bo Nix. Like them both today, though, I do. Half PPR, KW the third or Javonte Williams. I'm going Javonte over Kenneth Walker. 12, full PPR, flex, DJ Moore or Tony Pollard. I'm going Tony Pollard for the volume, baby, Billy Shields. Uncle Baby Billy Breza. Cross prop promos, Ferguson or Henry. I'm going Henry for that one. Thank you so much. You're the man. Thank you, Jets Machine, for being here. Love it. 2 flex, half PPR. Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, DJ Moore, Ridley. I'm going to go with Javonte and Ridley. Yo. You don't coach. Gotcha. I thought somebody tunes in that coaches in the local area, I feel like. Robert Christensen just got the Cowboys, dropped Lions, and already played Green Bay. There you go. I like them for sure. You got my attention. I will be here to support you. Thank you so much, Hollywood French Bulls. Let's go. Full PPR. I have to pick one. Devonta Adams, Mike Evans, Travis Hunter, and George Pickens. I would go Mike Evans. Like all the options, though. Hollywood French Bulls. Congrats on being a dad. Best thing ever. It sure is. The first 5 months, almost 6 months. I can't even believe it's half a year already. Goes so fast. But it's been the best 6 months of my life. So awesome. And she's such a sweet little heart. She's best. Can't wait to watch football with her all day today. DeAndre Swift. Or only screen time allowed in this household. 7 hours of commercial. Not even commercial-free football anymore. Can't even say that. Jeez. Will Hayes, DeAndre Swift, or David Montgomery. DeAndre Swift for me. Volume hog. Thinks he gets in there. PPR, Flex 1, Pollard, Igbuka, Pickens, Hollywood Brown. Igbuka for me, baby. Love that guy. Never benching him at this point. Cross prop promotions, Ferguson or Hunter Henry. I'm going Hunter Henry, baby. Amon St. Brown had a crap week. Keon Coleman did not. Who do I start for Steige? I stick with Amon-Ra St. Brown back at home. I think the Lions can remind us of that offense that they once were. Stavros, pick 2, Flex half PPR, Javonte Williams, Jalen Warren, Ridley, DJ Moore. Javonte and Ridley, I believe, Stavros is what I would go. Thank you, Peter Stone, for being here. Murray or Fields, I also have Marv. I go Fields. I love it. I know you want to stack them up, and you sure could. They're only a couple spots different, Sergio, but I like Fields there. Fields over Murray for Nissan Rob. He agrees with me. Thank you for answering the question. Appreciate you. Thank you, Sicilian Kyle, for sure. Full PPR, running back and flex, Tracy, Etienne, DK. I am going with Etienne, and I'm going DK. Movies must be rough. We got Seth giving Taco League advice. Thank you, Uncle Ted. My brothers will have a field day with that one. they've always said I look like Seth Rogen, so they'll enjoy that one. Lamar Jackson. It's been tough for Seth Rogen these days. Yes. You guys should all watch what's that show on Apple TV? The Studio. Very, very good. Tried trading Lamar Jackson for Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson. Rejected. I mean, I don't blame you getting rejected, but yeah, y'all are asking the same dang questions. All right, we'll keep going. Should you start Keenan Allen or JMO? I would go with JMO myself. Stavros, it was 2 flex. He said only 1. Huh? I don't remember, but hey. Jessica Handler, PPR, Hurts or Herbert? I would go with Hurts, and I would go JMO or Tet. I'm going Tet there, Jessica. Bully season. JMO or George Pickens? I would go with George. I'm going George. Fire up Boutte versus Miami. I love it. I do. Absolutely. Sorry, didn't know you were hitting every question. No worries, Sicilian. Some people are new here. Try not to spam it. But yeah, I try to get to every question, especially with the rapid fire. We got 4 minutes left of the rapid fire, folks. So consider it one more time for that thumbs up button. Let's go. PPR pick 2. Pearsall pick. I think this one right here, Jessica. I'm going to go with Pearsall and Igbuka over Pickens. Drew Halpy. Herbert or Field, 6-point passing touchdown. I go Herbert. That's my quarterback 6 and quarterback 7, though. Love both options, Drew. Eric Buckman, pick 2. JMO, Ridley, Aaron Jones, PPR. I would go with Ridley and JMO. I'm going the receivers in full PPR there. Bro, you're a funny, great one. Hey, hell yeah, Hollywood. Let's go. Girl dads rock. They do indeed. Let's do it. Cheers. It sounds like you're a girl dad too. How old's yours, Hollywood French Bull? And any tips for a new dad here, let me know. But I'm absolutely loving it so far. Justin Cordero, PPR, Devonta Smith or Pearsall? I would go with Pearsall, Justin. Pearsall's the guy of the day officially. It was Igbuka last week. We're going with Pearsall here. Do you mind if I ask a SFB 15 scoring complex? Would you go between a struggling wide receiver 2 or a situational tight end? Choose 2 out of Waddle, Shakir, Henry, and Jonnu. I know the tight end scoring. I'm in the SFB. I forget exactly, but I know it's definitely favors tight ends. I like Henry and I like Shakir for those ones with that scoring in mind, brain burst. Justin Cordero, PPR, Trevion or Montgomery. I like Trevion, especially with that full PPR. Half PPR, Jalen Warren or DJ Moore. I would go with, or Ridley, sorry. I would go Ridley over DJ Moore, I think. Yeah, I like Ridley to bounce back. Him and Ward to have a coming out party today, Stavros. You do look like Seth Rogen, my man. I've got it before, especially with the people say the laugh is similar too. Hey, I'll take it. You know what? People might think it's an insult. I'm fine with it. And someday I'll be just as famous as Seth Rogen. Yeah. Have PPR, pick 2. Ridley, Coleman, Rome, Pickens, Boutte. I would go with Coleman and Rome, I believe, for this one. Love all the options, William. That's going to be tough. A lot of boom or bust. There you go. Bo Nix or Lawrence. I would go with Bo Nix. I hate Trevor Lawrence. Absolute tool bag. Funny like him. Hey, I'll take it, Hollywood. You got all the compliments today. I really appreciate it, French Bulls. PPR ran. Hey, Quinshon Judkins back. Would you drop Samson to stash Monungai? Nah, I'd rather stash Samson than Monungai because Roshan's back, and who knows what that will be. Eat powder. Cool name. I'll do my best to eat some powder, baby. Trade Barkley for Brees, Pacheco, and Tyreek. That's a pretty good yield, but, I mean, Pacheco might be useless. Tyreek might be useless. He might get suspended. They're tracking him. He might go to the Chiefs, in which case he'd be awesome. But no, I would not do this deal. And I really like Brees, but I would not do that one for sure. Mine's 12 years old. She just turned 12 this past Monday. Hey, happy birthday to your daughter. I'm sure it feels like a blink of an eye there too, Hollywood French Bulls. But congrats on that. That's awesome. Good luck, everyone, this Sunday. God bless America. Indeed, Justin Cordero. I know a lot of weird stuff's going on these days in this country. Not a political show, but, I mean, yeah, we need every blessing we could take at this point. Good Lord. Bully season. Roll with Mark Andrews or drop and pick up Ferguson or Brent Strange. I think I roll with Andrews, Bully. I know he's fat and useless. I hate the guy myself, but ultimately, against Cleveland, he typically beats them down. If he doesn't do it this week, you can hate cut him. It will feel really nice on Monday. We'll see how it goes. Tommy Taluga. The fullback up the middle. I remember that name, Tommy Taluga, who plows into the end zone. Need a flex and a wide receiver, PPR, pick 2. Pollard, Igbuka, Sutton, Charbonnet, Myers. Love these options. I'm definitely playing the Igbuka, and I think I'm playing Sutton just slightly over Pollard. It's between those 3, Pollard, Igbuka, and Sutton, and I believe I'm going to bench Pollard there and play Igbuka and Sutton. And then we got Chris. Need a kicker and dropping with last 30 seconds here. Sampson, Tootin, or Boutte. I'd be dropping Sampson, I think, there, Chris. Nissan Rob, if you're trading Barkley, you can get Brees plus better player than I agree exactly, Nissan. Should name this segment the Pineapple Express for Seth Rogen. Now you guys are really cooking. Take a quick rip of the pen and then do the rapid fire too. Maybe that's what we'll do on next Monday bully season. Get a little baked and do a rapid fire Pineapple Express. I like the move. I do. Justin Cordero. I have Bowers. Would you drop Hollywood Brown for Meyer as a backup option? No. And this is what I would say, Justin, too. You want to check your leagues. You have to drop him today. I wouldn't. A lot of leagues allow you to churn your bench as well. So I know on ESPN you can't, right? But in Yahoo, you're allowed to cut players after they've played, even if they're on your bench. So I think it's a good option. But it sounds like he's going to play, so I wouldn't. It sounds like Bauer's going to play, so I wouldn't stack Meyer. If you have to, though, I would get him today, I guess, yes. You could always cut your kicker and then pick up Carlson, too, or, there's options with Monday night kickers. PPR, flex JMO or Monty. I would go with JMO, and the timers run out, but we have like 3 questions. So I'll do it. Yes, sir. It does fly, I'm sure. Again, good luck to fantasy football to you as well. McMillan on flex or Jalen Warren and Tracy. I would go Tet McMillan. Full PPR, 1 receiver and 1 flex. Judy, Sampson, Jennings, or Mooney. I would go with Judy and Jennings for that one. And then last one here, Sir Booger Ray. Montgomery and Pollard. I have Irving and Pollard starting. I would be benching Montgomery there. And I might play Monty over Travis Hunter, though. I think I would. And I would go Javonte over Hampton Miranda. Alrighty, guys. Best of luck. Rankings will be live. We ended up with 2,251. Not a bad Sunday. 2 weeks in a row. Back-to-backs over 2,000. Love to see it. Thank you so much. On your way out, one last call for that thumbs up button, for the subscription button. Would love to have you guys here for the long haul. We're always live Thursday night pregame and then Sunday morning pregame. Would love to have you guys along for the ride this season. Thank you again so much for being here. Best of luck. I hope you get all the touchdowns, everything you need this week. Go crush it, and we'll see you in week 3, Wolfpack. In a world full of fancy sheep, be the wolf, and go to rotorstreetjournal.com for the race.